Good evening, my friend. Let the day now become dim. Let the noise of the outer world withdraw from you. Let the faces, the duties, the questions, the unanswered things, the appearances that seemed so important while the sun was above you begin to lose their power. This is the hour when the senses grow tired. This is the hour when the body asks to be released from the burden of proving, striving, and waiting. And in this quiet hour, I ask you to give yourself to a different order. Tonight, do not wait for your desire. Sleep where it is done. Let that sentence enter you gently. Tonight, do not wait for your desire. Sleep where it is done. You have waited long enough in imagination. You have looked toward tomorrow long enough. You have wondered, searched, measured, asked when, asked how, asked whether it could happen. You have perhaps watched the world for signs, as though the world were the cause, and your consciousness only a servant waiting for permission. But tonight, we reverse the order. Tonight, you are not here to force the world. You are here to enter the state. The desire is not far from consciousness. It may seem far from the senses. It may seem far from reason. It may seem far from the facts that you have carried through the day. But facts are only the clothing of former states. They are not the source of what you must become. The desire in its fulfilled form already exists as a state. There is a version of you who is no longer waiting, no longer asking, no longer wondering if it can be. There is a state in which the desire is already known, already accepted, already lived from. And tonight you will move inwardly toward that state, not by strain but by surrender to the end. You may be tired now, tired of hoping and then doubting, tired of trying to believe while the senses speak against you, tired of holding the desire like a distant star, beautiful but unreal. You may have prayed, imagined, affirmed, and still found yourself returning to the old question, when will it be done? But this night is not for asking when. This night is for entering where. Where is it already done? Where within you is the room of the fulfilled desire? Where is the self who no longer waits? That is where we go tonight. And before you drift more deeply into this silence, take one small outward action that agrees with the inward decision you are making now. Subscribe to this channel, not as a common habit, not as a careless movement of the hand, but as a quiet sign that you are willing to return to these teachings until the state of fulfillment becomes natural to you. Let it be a simple yes. Let it be an outer echo of an inner choice. I will no longer sleep as the one who waits. I will return again and again to the law, to the end, to the fulfilled state. So subscribe now, gently, without haste, and let that little action be joined to a deeper vow within you. Every time you return, these words can water the seed of assumption. Every night you listen, the old state of waiting can lose a little more authority. Every return can train the inner man to dwell not in longing, but in fulfillment. Let it be done, and then release even that. Do not make it another task. Let it be a small seal upon your decision, and come back with me. For sleep is not the end of creation. Sleep is one of the doors by which creation enters the deep. When the conscious mind grows weary, when the body becomes heavy, when the senses no longer demand so much attention, the deeper man is more easily impressed. And what is impressed upon the deep must, in its own appointed way, seek expression. Therefore, do not carry into sleep the feeling of waiting. Do not carry into sleep the old cry of absence. Do not fall asleep as one standing outside the fulfilled life. Fall asleep as the one who already has it. I do not mean that you must force yourself to see everything clearly. I do not mean that you must remain awake, guarding every thought like a soldier at a gate. No, this is not a battle. This is not violence against the mind. This is an inward movement, a gentle turning from the appearance to the state. If the body wishes to sleep, let it sleep. If the words become distant, let them become distant. If the mind drifts, let it drift in the direction of the end. The subconscious can receive what the surface mind no longer studies. You are not here to force the world. You are here to enter the state. The world is a mirror of states. If you stand before the mirror as the one who waits, the mirror must continue to show waiting. If you stand before the mirror as the one who is fulfilled, then though the reflection may appear to delay, it must eventually conform. The mirror is not the cause. The state is the cause. This is why I ask you not to begin with the world tonight. Do not begin with what has not happened. Do not begin with who has not answered. Do not begin with what has not arrived. Begin with the end. The end is not a future date. The end is a state of consciousness. The end is the inner position where the desire has ceased to be a question. It has become part of you. It is not something you are hoping for. It is something you are living from. The end is the place where the body rests differently, where the inner speech changes, where the heart no longer leans forward into tomorrow. The end is not reached by time, it is entered by assumption. Tonight, do not wait for your desire. Sleep where it is done. Perhaps your desire concerns love. Then do not sleep as one asking whether you are loved. Sleep as one who is cherished, chosen, and secure in love. Perhaps your desire concerns money. Then do not sleep as one fearing lack, stretching thought toward supply. Sleep as one who is provided for. Perhaps your desire concerns health. Then do not sleep as one worshipping the condition. Sleep as one who feels the quiet truth of wholeness. Perhaps your desire concerns success, work, home, freedom, reconciliation. Whatever it is, do not sleep outside the door. Enter the room where it is done. Do not ask the night to show you every step. The night is not for the steps. The night is for the state. Steps belong to the bridge, and the bridge appears after the end is assumed. If you ask how before you enter the end, you remain in the old state. You stand outside the fulfilled desire, demanding a road to it. But when you enter the state, the road begins to form. The road is born from the state. The bridge is the servant of the end. The desire is not far from consciousness. Feel that. The desire is not far from consciousness. It has seemed far because you have perhaps placed it in time. You have said one day, when circumstances change, when someone agrees, when the evidence appears, when the world becomes friendly, then I will feel fulfilled. But the fulfillment is not born from circumstances first. Fulfillment is assumed within, and circumstances rearrange themselves around the assumption. You do not become fulfilled because the world has changed. The world changes because you have entered the state of being fulfilled. This is why sleep is so precious. In sleep, man lays down the burden of argument. He does not need to persuade the senses. He does not need to defeat reason with noise. He simply carries a state into the deep, and the deep accepts more readily when the body is at rest. So tonight, you need not wrestle. You need not convince the old world. You need not prove anything to anyone. You need only find the feeling of already done, and let that feeling accompany you into sleep. Fall asleep as the one who already has it, not as the one who hopes to have it, not as the one who begs to have it, not as the one who fears it may never come. Fall asleep as the one who already has it. There is a softness in that identity. The one who already has it does not strain in the same way. He does not ask every moment whether it will happen. He does not rehearse absence. He does not imagine conversations of failure. He does not keep returning to the question as though the question were his home. The one who already has it may be quiet. He may be simple. He may even feel ordinary. But within him the desire has lost its distance. The purpose of this night is to remove distance, not through effort, but through identity. Distance says, I am here, and my desire is there. Fulfillment says, I am the one in whom it is done. Distance says, I must wait. Fulfillment says, I occupy the end. Distance says, how will I get there? Fulfillment says, I am there inwardly now. Distance says, prove it to me. Fulfillment says, I sleep in it before proof. Let the old distance begin to fade. If the desire feels far, do not chase it. Bring yourself into the state where it is near. If the desire feels impossible, do not argue with impossibility. Enter the state where it is already natural. If the desire feels delayed, do not worship delay. Enter the end where delay is no longer part of your identity. If the senses deny it, let the senses deny. They report the old state. You are entering the new. Reason may ask, how can I sleep where it is done when I do not see it? But this is precisely the law. You do not see it first. You assume it. What is now seen was once unseen. What is now fact was once imagined. What is now called real was once held inwardly by someone as a possibility, a conviction, an assumption. Therefore, do not be ashamed of the unseen. The unseen is the womb of the seen. Tonight, the fulfilled desire is unseen to the senses, perhaps, but it need not be unfelt by consciousness. You can feel it. You can take the mood of it. You can sense the relief of it, the naturalness of it, the end of waiting. You can let one short inner scene imply it. You can hear one sentence that would be spoken if it were true. You can feel the body no longer reaching. That is enough for sleep. Sleep does not require a great spectacle. Sleep receives a state. Let your body begin to receive it now. Let the forehead soften as though the question has been answered. Let the eyes rest as though there is no need to search for signs. Let the jaw release as though you no longer have to defend the desire. Let the shoulders fall as though the burden of making it happen has been taken from you. Let the chest open as though fulfillment is allowed to be near. Let the stomach loosen as though tomorrow is not the master. Let the hands rest as though receiving is safe. This is the body of one who is moving toward the end, not a body forcing, a body receiving, not a body waiting, a body entering, not a body begging, a body assuming. You are not here to force the world. You are here to enter the state. That is the whole movement of tonight. Enter the state, not the argument, not the fear, not the old report, not the outer delay. Enter the state. If the desire were already fulfilled, what would be different within you? Perhaps only a small thing at first, a softer breath, a quieter heart, a single sentence, it is done. A sense that you no longer need to push, a feeling that the desire has become yours in consciousness. Take that small thing. Do not despise it. A small feeling accepted is greater than a grand image doubted. If all you can feel tonight is one breath of relief, take it. If all you can imagine is one friend saying, I am happy for you, take it. If all you can sense is the absence of the old urgency, take it. The seed need not be large, it must be accepted. Tonight, do not wait for your desire. Sleep where it is done. Let the words become slower now. Sleep where it is done, not where it is missing, not where it is uncertain. Sleep where it is done. Sleep in the room of fulfillment. Sleep in the atmosphere of answered prayer. Sleep in the inner country, where the desire is already part of your life. Sleep as the self who no longer needs to ask the old question. Perhaps the outer world has trained you to wait. It says wait until the letter comes. Wait until the person changes. Wait until the door opens. Wait until the amount appears. Wait until the body improves. Wait until the condition is removed. But I tell you in consciousness, do not wait. Enter. Let the world take its place afterward. Let the letter, the person, the door, the amount, the body, the condition, all be servants of the state. Do not let them stand as masters over I am. I am is the door, and tonight you may place after I am the state of fulfillment. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. I am where my desire is done. Not as a loud declaration, but as a quiet dwelling. Do not say these words as one trying to defeat doubt by force. Say them as one entering a warm room. If doubt remains outside the room, let it remain. You do not need to argue with every shadow. You only need to dwell in the light you have chosen. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. I am where my desire is done. The desire is not far from consciousness. It may be as near as the next feeling, as near as the next assumption, as near as the next breath taken from the end. This is why you must not think of manifestation as a long road tonight. Think of it as a change of state, from waiting to fulfilled, from hoping to having, from asking to knowing, from chasing to resting, from outside the door to inside the room. You may hear these words and sleep before the practice is complete. That is perfectly well. If sleep takes you while the state is near, let it take you. Sleep is not a failure to understand. Sleep is the deep receiving. The surface mind may drift, but the deeper mind is still impressed by the atmosphere you carry. Let the atmosphere be fulfillment. Let the night hear not your old complaint, but your new assumption. Fall asleep as the one who already has it. Fall asleep as the one who has been answered. Fall asleep as the one who is chosen. Fall asleep as the one who is free. Fall asleep as the one who is healed. Fall asleep as the one who is established. Fall asleep as the one who is at peace. Whatever the desire, fall asleep as the one who no longer waits. This is not pretending in the shallow sense, it is choosing reality at the level of cause. The senses may call it imagination, but I tell you, imagination is the very power by which the world is made visible. The seen is born from the unseen. The fact is born from the assumption. The event is born from the state. Therefore tonight, be faithful to the state before the event appears. You are not here to force the world. You are here to enter the state. You are not here to chase your desire. You are here to sleep where it is done. You are not here to beg for proof. You are here to assume fulfillment. You are not here to remain awake in fear. You are here to let the subconscious receive the end. And now let the end draw nearer. It is done in consciousness. It is accepted within. It is known by the inner man. The bridge will form. The law will move. The world will follow. But tonight you rest. You rest in the state. You rest in the fulfilled desire. You rest where it is done. Do not wait for your desire. Sleep where it is done. Let this be the first movement of the night, the first release, the first doorway. The day is fading. The senses are quieting. The body is softening. The inner state is becoming more real, and you are beginning gently without force to fall asleep, as the one who already has it. Now, as the body becomes quieter and the night gathers around you, we must correct one of the greatest misunderstandings in the life of man. It is the misunderstanding that has kept many waiting, many doubting, many standing outside the door of their own fulfilled desire. It is the belief that the outer world must change first, and only then may the inner man believe. Man says, "When I see it, I will believe it." But I tell you, when you believe it inwardly, you will see it. This is the reversal that awakens the creative power within you. The world does not come first. The state comes first. The event does not come first. The assumption comes first. The evidence does not come first. The inner acceptance comes first. What you accept within becomes what you meet without. The world does not come first. The state comes first. Let that sentence become quiet and clear within you. The world does not come first. The state comes first. The outer scene is not the creator. The outer scene is the reflection. The outer scene is the witness of something already accepted, already worn, already imagined, already believed in the deep. If you take the outer world as cause, you will forever be its servant. You will wait for it to smile before you smile. You will wait for it to open before you enter. You will wait for it to bless you before you feel blessed. You will wait for it to call you fulfilled before you dare to be fulfilled. But the awakened man does not live that way. The awakened man knows that consciousness is cause. He knows that the state he occupies is the secret origin of what later appears. He knows that the world, with all its faces and circumstances, is not independent of the inner man. He knows that what he accepts as true within himself must, in some appointed way, clothe itself in the outer world. Therefore, he does not ask the outer world for permission to assume the wish fulfilled. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. A mirror can only return what stands before it. If you stand before it wearing sorrow, it reflects sorrow. If you stand before it wearing fear, it reflects fear. If you stand before it wearing waiting, it reflects waiting. If you stand before it wearing the state of fulfillment, then though for a moment the old reflection may seem to remain, it cannot remain forever. The mirror has no power of its own. It must answer the face. The mistake is that man sees the old reflection and thinks it is law. He sees the present condition and calls it final. He sees the absence of the desire and says, "I must not feel fulfilled." He sees no proof and says, "I must wait." He sees no visible change and says, "Nothing is happening." But he does not understand that the senses are reporting the old assumption. The senses report the old assumption. The senses report the old assumption. They show you what consciousness has already worn. They give you the harvest of former states, not the limit of what you can now become. The senses may be useful in the practical affairs of the day, but they must not be made master in the creative act. If you ask the senses whether your desire is fulfilled, they will often answer from yesterday. They will say, "No, not yet. Look, see, measure, remember, compare." But the senses are not the creative power. Imagination is. Reason may deny your assumption. The senses may deny your assumption. The world may appear unmoved. But this is not a command to return to the old state. It is only the old state showing its last report. If you accept that report as final, you re-enter the state that produced it. But if you remain faithful to the new state, the report must change. This is why tonight, as you fall asleep, you must not consult appearances. Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel loved?" Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel provided for?" Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel healed?" Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel chosen?" Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel free?" Do not ask the visible world, "May I feel fulfilled?" The visible world is not the author of your state. It is the servant of your state. If the desire is love, and the outer world appears silent, do not let silence name you unloved. Silence may be only the old reflection. Enter the state of being loved. If the desire is prosperity, and the outer world appears narrow, do not let the narrow appearance name you lack. Enter the state of being supplied. If the desire is health, and the senses report discomfort, do not let the report become your identity. Enter the state of wholeness. If the desire is success and the world has not yet applauded, do not stand waiting for applause before you become the successful one within. The world does not come first. The state comes first. Now this may seem strange to the reasoning mind, because the reasoning mind was trained by sequence. It was trained to say, first this happens, then I feel. First the letter comes, then I rejoice. First the money appears, then I rest. First the person changes, then I am secure. First the door opens, then I am free. First the body changes, then I am whole. First the world confirms, then I believe. But this is the order of the sleeping man. The man who knows imagination as the creative power reverses it. He says, first I rejoice inwardly, and the letter will come in its time. First I rest in supply, and money must take its place. First I feel secure in love, and the world must echo that security. First I assume freedom, and the door must open. First I enter wholeness, and the body must follow the state. First I believe inwardly, and the world must become my witness. What you accept within becomes what you... Not always in the manner expected by the surface mind, not always through the road you would have chosen, not always by the person you had named, not always at the hour fear demanded, but it comes according to law. The state accepted within seeks expression. The bridge forms, the outer world moves, men speak, events shift, doors appear. What seemed unrelated becomes part of the road, and then looking backward you say, how natural it was. But it began when the state was accepted. Tonight, do not wait for the world to give you evidence before you sleep in fulfillment. Sleep is too precious to be given to the old report. Do not carry the unfinished appearance into the deep and call it truth. Do not lie down saying, nothing has changed. Do not let the last voice before sleep be the voice of the senses. Let the last voice be the voice of the fulfilled state. It is done. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. My desire is fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. The senses may deny it for a while, but the senses are not cause. Let these thoughts become softer, not as a debate, but as release. You do not need to defeat the senses tonight. You only need to stop obeying them as creative authority. Let them report what they report. Let the outer world show what it shows. You are not here to fight the mirror. You are here to change the face. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. This is a simple image, but it will free you if you allow it. If you stand before a mirror with a troubled face and demand that the mirror smile first, you will wait forever. You may plead with the mirror. You may curse the mirror. You may study the mirror. You may look at it from every angle. You may ask others why the mirror has not smiled. But the mirror is innocent. It is only reflecting. Change the face, and the mirror must follow. So with your world, do not plead with the world to become fulfilled while you inwardly remain unfulfilled. Do not demand that life show you love while you sleep as one unloved. Do not demand abundance while you sleep as one abandoned by supply. Do not demand solution while you sleep inside the problem. Do not demand proof while your inner state remains waiting. Change the inner man. Enter the end. The mirror must follow. This does not mean you deny appearances in a childish way. It means you put them in their proper place. An appearance may be seen, but it need not be worshipped. An appearance may be noticed, but it need not be crowned as king. An appearance may be handled in the affairs of the day, but it need not enter the holy chamber of I am and take your name. You may see an outer condition and still refuse to become it. You may see delay and refuse to become waiting. You may see silence and refuse to become rejection. You may see lack and refuse to become poverty. You may see uncertainty and refuse to become fear. You may see no evidence and refuse to become doubt. This is mastery, not force, not denial from panic. Mastery is the quiet knowledge that the state comes first. The senses report the old assumption. Therefore, if the senses report something tonight that is not your desire, do not panic. Do not say, the law has failed. Do not say, I cannot enter the end. Do not say, my desire is far. They are witnesses of what has been assumed, not prophets of what must be. You are free to assume anew. The old assumption may have said, I am waiting. The senses report waiting. The old assumption may have said, I am not chosen. The senses report not chosen. The old assumption may have said, it is difficult. The senses report difficulty. The old assumption may have said, I am without. The senses report absence. But now you choose another state. I am fulfilled. I am whole. I am free. I am answered. I am living in the end. And if the senses say no, you are not, let them speak. Do not invite them to the throne. They are not God. They are servants of former states. Imagination is the true creative power. I am is the door. Assumption is the movement. Feeling is the secret. Persistence is the loyalty. The world follows. The world does not come first. The state comes first. Let us bring this into the night more deeply. When a man lies down, he often thinks he is resting, but inwardly he is rehearsing the old world. He sees again what has not happened. He hears again what was not said. He imagines again the absence of the thing desired. He repeats the evidence against himself, and then he says, "Why do I wake unchanged?" Because he slept in the state of unchanged. He slept in the old report. He carried the mirror into the bed and asked it to create. Tonight, do not sleep with the mirror. Do not sleep with the problem. Sleep with the answer. Do not sleep with the absence. Sleep with fulfillment. Do not sleep with the question. Sleep with the end. Do not sleep with the senses. Sleep with imagination. The outer world may appear unchanged at the moment you close your eyes. That is not important. What matters is the state you carry into the deep. For the deep does not need the world to approve. It receives what you accept. If you accept waiting, it receives waiting. If you accept fulfillment, it receives fulfillment. If you accept fear, it receives fear. If you accept the end, it receives the end. What you accept within becomes what you meet without. This is why the final mood before sleep is so significant. The last inner position of the night is a seed. Many give that seed to worry. Many give it to memory. Many give it to resentment. Many give it to longing. Many give it to fear. Tonight, give it to fulfillment. Give it the feeling that the desire is already done. Give it the quiet assurance that you are no longer outside the fulfilled life. The mind may ask, but what if I cannot believe fully? Then begin where you can. Do not try to force a mountain of belief upon a frightened body. Take one small piece of the end, one breath of relief, one moment of being congratulated, one sentence inwardly heard, one feeling that the burden is lifted, one little sign within that says, "It worked out." Enter that. Let that be your seed. The law does not demand noise. It demands acceptance. A small assumption accepted is creative. A faint feeling accepted is creative. A quiet inner yes accepted is creative. A single scene accepted as true is creative. Do not despise the smallness of the seed. The tree sleeps in it. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. You smile first in consciousness, not with a forced expression of the face, but with the inward release. You enter the state first. You become the one first. You wear the name first. The world follows. Let the listener within you hear this. You are allowed to feel fulfilled before proof. This is not foolishness. It is the law. You are allowed to feel loved before the outer message. You are allowed to feel supplied before the sum appears. You are allowed to feel healed before every sensation confirms it. You are allowed to feel successful before the world applauds. You are allowed to feel free before the door is visible. You are allowed to feel answered before the answer arrives. You are allowed because consciousness is cause. The old man says, "I must see it before I believe." The new man says, "I must believe it inwardly before I see it." The old man says, "Give me evidence and I will rest." The new man says, "I rest in the fulfilled state and evidence will be born." The old man says, "When the world changes, I will become." The new man says, "I become," and the world must change. This is the birth of a new order within you. The senses may still speak. Let them speak. They have spoken for a long time. But tonight, their voice grows softer. The night does not belong to the senses. The night belongs to the deep. The night belongs to imagination. The night belongs to the inner man who can enter any state and dwell there. The night belongs to the wish fulfilled. You are not required to prove it to anyone tonight. You are not required to explain it. You are not required to persuade the world. This is an inward act, a sacred act, a silent act. You close the door, and in the secret place, you accept the end. The world may not know what you have done, but the world will eventually show what you have accepted. The world does not come first. The state comes first. Again, softly, the state comes first. Before the message, the state. Before the money, the state. Before the healing, the state. Before the door, the state. Before the reconciliation, the state. Before the success, the state. Before the evidence, the state. The senses report the old assumption. Again, softly, the old report is not my, the old appearance is not my cause. The old world is not my permission. I enter the state. I enter the end. I enter fulfillment. What you accept within becomes what you meet without. Again, softly, I accept the end within. I accept fulfillment within. I accept the desire as done within. I accept the state of having received within. I accept the new identity within. And what is accepted within must in its own way become what I meet without. Now perhaps the body can relax further because it no longer needs outer proof this moment. Proof will come as reflection. But sleep requires state. So let the body stop checking. Let the eyes stop searching. Let the heart stop asking whether the world has changed yet. Let the mind stop measuring the distance. The state comes first. If the state comes first, you can rest before the sign appears. Let the forehead soften from needing proof. Let the eyes rest from looking for signs. Let the jaw release from arguing with the senses. Let the shoulders fall from carrying the old report. Let the chest open to the fulfilled state. Let the breath move as though the end has already been accepted. Let the body become the body of one who no longer asks appearances for permission. You have asked appearances for permission long enough. You have asked silence whether you are loved. You have asked lack whether you are supplied. You have asked discomfort whether you are whole. You have asked delay whether you are free. You have asked the mirror whether you may smile. Tonight the asking ends. You do not need permission from an effect to enter the cause. Enter the cause. Enter imagination. Enter I am. Enter the fulfilled state. Let the outer world follow. This is the gentle courage of sleep. During the day the senses shout. At night they grow weak. They lose their sharpness. The body no longer wants to chase proof. The mind grows tired of argument. This is the hour to plant the unseen state. This is the hour to accept what the senses have not yet reported. This is the hour to sleep as one who has gone ahead of evidence and entered fulfillment. When I say go ahead of evidence, I do not mean force the mind into fantasy. I mean dwell inwardly in the end. Feel the state as real enough to sleep from. The world will call it imagination. Let it. What is now called real was once only imagination. Every visible thing began in the every fact was once hidden. Every outer form had an inner beginning. Tonight, your desire begins again, in the only place it can begin, consciousness. The desire may seem absent from the world, but it need not be absent from you. The desire may seem unseen by the senses, but it need not be unfelt by the inner man. The desire may seem unsupported by reason, but it can be supported by assumption. The desire may seem delayed in time, but it can be entered now as state. The world does not come first. The state comes first. Now for a moment, imagine the old order as a heavy garment. It says, I will believe when I see. Feel how heavy that is. It keeps you bound to the present reflection. It gives the mirror authority. It makes you wait at the gate of your own creation. Now imagine removing that garment. Let it fall. In its place, take the lighter garment. I believe inwardly, and the world follows. Feel the difference. It is not, it is creative dignity. I do not wait for proof to become fulfilled. I become fulfilled, and proof follows. I do not wait for the world to change before I enter peace. I enter peace, and the world follows. I do not wait for the senses to agree before I assume the end. I assume the end, and the senses will one day report it. This is the law in rest. Let it be restful. Let it be slow. Let it be a lullaby for the inner man. The state comes, and because the state comes first, I may sleep before the world has changed. Because the state comes first, I may feel fulfilled before the evidence arrives. Because the state comes first, I may stop asking appearances for permission. Because the state comes first, I may close my eyes in peace. Because the state comes first, I may enter the end now. Now the old misunderstanding begins to dissolve. You no longer have to say, when I see it, I will believe. You may say instead, because I believe inwardly, I shall see. You no longer have to say, when it happens, I will feel relief. You may say, I enter relief now, and events will follow. You no longer have to say, when the world answers, I will sleep. You may say, I sleep in the answer, and the world must answer. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. Do not ask the echo to speak before you speak. Do not ask the shadow to move before the state comes first. Now let the fulfilled state come first in you tonight. Before the proof, let fulfillment come first. Before the event, let the end come first. Before the bridge, let the assumption come first. Before the visible answer, let the inner answer come first. I am fulfilled. It is done. I live from the end. The desire is already accepted in consciousness. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. Let this be the order you carry into sleep. Not the old order of waiting, but the divine order of assumption. Not the old order of proof first, feeling later, but the true order, feeling first, proof later. State first, world later. Consciousness first, reflection later. What you accept within becomes what you meet without. So tonight, accept the end within. Accept it softly. Accept it quietly. Accept it without demanding that the senses applaud. Accept it as one who knows the mirror must follow. Accept it as one who knows the old report is fading. Accept it as one who knows that the state comes first. And if sleep begins to come, let it come upon this new order. Let sleep receive the fulfilled state before the world has shown evidence. Let sleep receive the assumption before the senses agree. Let sleep receive the inner yes before the outer sign. Let sleep receive the smile before the mirror smiles. The world does not come first. The state comes first. The senses report the old assumption. Do not ask the mirror to smile before you smile. What you accept within becomes what you meet without. And tonight, you accept fulfillment within. Tonight, you accept the end within. Tonight, you accept that your desire is done in consciousness. Tonight, you sleep not because the world has proved it, but because you have entered the state. Rest in that. Rest in the state that comes first. Rest in the fulfilled assumption. Rest where evidence is no longer your master. Rest where the mirror must follow. Rest as the one who believes inwardly, and therefore shall see. Now, having seen that the state comes first, let us come to something even more comforting for the night. Your desire is not wandering somewhere far away, waiting to be created by struggle. It is not an impossible thing that must be brought into being by force. It is not lost in time. It is not beyond the reach of the inner man. Your desire already exists as a state. Your desire already exists as a state. Let that thought be received gently, because if you truly receive it, the heart will stop reaching so violently. The mind will cease imagining the desire as a distant object. The body will begin to understand that the fulfilled life is not separated from you by miles, years, or human permission. It is a state, and a state is not reached by running. A state is entered by assumption. You do not create the state, you enter it. You do not create love from nothing. You enter the state of being loved. You do not create supply from nothing. You enter the state of being supplied. You do not create peace from nothing. You enter the state of one who is at peace. You do not create success from nothing. You enter the state of one for whom success is natural. You do not create freedom from nothing. You do not create the fulfilled desire as though imagination were begging emptiness to become full. The state already exists. Your work is to occupy it. Think of all the states in the world as rooms in a great house. In one room, a man is waiting. In another, he has received. In one room, he is rejected. In another, he is chosen. In one room, he is poor. In another, he is supplied. In one room, he is troubled. In another, he says, it is done. These are not places in space. They are states of consciousness. And man is free, in imagination, to move from one room to another. The sleeping man remains in the same room and calls it life. He says, this is who I am. This is what has happened. This is what always happens to me. This is my fate. But he is only confessing the state he has occupied. The awakened man begins to understand that he need not remain in a state because it has been familiar. He may leave it, he may enter another. He may move inwardly into the room where the desire is already fulfilled. The fulfilled self is not far away. It is a state available now. The fulfilled self is not far away. It is a state available now. There is a self within consciousness who does not beg for the desire. There is a self who does not tremble before delay. There is a self who does not ask whether it will happen. There is a self who has already accepted the answer. There is a self whose inner speech is different, whose body is different, whose night is different, whose morning is different. That self is not in another world. That self is a state. And tonight you may enter it. Do not ask, how can I become this person? Ask, what is the state of this person? Do not ask, how long will it take? Ask, can I assume it now? Do not ask, where is the evidence? Ask, what would I feel if evidence were no longer needed? This is the great movement. Man thinks he travels through time to reach fulfillment, but in truth, he enters the state of fulfillment, and time then becomes the bridge through which that state expresses. You are not traveling toward your desire tonight. You are entering the state where it is already done. This is a quiet revolution within you. You may have thought your desire was ahead of you. You may have thought it belonged to tomorrow, or next month, or some unknown hour when the world finally permits it. But I tell you, the fulfilled desire is nearer than tomorrow. It is nearer than the next event. It is nearer than the next message, the next opportunity, the next change, the next answer. It is as near as the state you dare to assume. Your desire already exists as a state. If your desire is to be loved, there is a state where you are already loved. Not begging for love, not searching for love, not wondering whether you are worthy of love. Already loved, chosen, known, secure, rested in affection, at home in the feeling of being desired and received. That state exists. If your desire is money, there is a state where you are already supplied. Not chasing money, not fearing lack, not bargaining with tomorrow. Supplied, provided for, able to breathe, able to give, able to meet what must be met, able to rest in the knowledge that supply belongs to consciousness. That state exists. If your desire is healing, there is a state where you are whole, not fighting the body with fear, not worshipping the condition, not identifying with the report, whole, peaceful, restored in consciousness, feeling life as natural, balanced, and free. That state exists. If your desire is success, there is a state where success is not far, not strange, not impossible, but natural. You are recognized, you are established, you are moving from dignity. You are not asking the world if you may matter. You know your place. That state exists. If your desire is freedom, there is a state where the door is already open. You are not trapped inwardly. You are not chained to the old story. You have space. You have choice. You have movement. You have air. That state exists. If your desire is peace, there is a state where peace is no longer a visitor, but your atmosphere. The mind is quiet. The heart is soft. The old disturbance has lost authority. You are no longer living under the tyranny of the question. That state exists. And if your desire is something I have not named, still the law is the same. There is a state where it is already fulfilled. The form may differ, but the principle never changes. The desire already exists as a state, and you are invited to enter it. You do not create the state, you enter it. Now this entering is not a physical movement. You do not rise from the bed. You do not walk across the floor. You do not search in the outer world. You enter by imagination. You enter by feeling. You enter by inner speech. You enter by the quiet acceptance of the fulfilled fact. You enter when you cease being the one who lacks and begin being the one who has received. You enter when the desire stops being something you are pleading for and becomes something you are living from. Let the body hear this. The fulfilled state is not far away. The fulfilled state is not far away. It is not hidden behind 1,000 obstacles. It is not waiting for every man and woman in your world to agree. It is not waiting for the senses to approve. It is available to consciousness now. And as you sleep in that state, you begin its expression. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. If you sleep in lack, lack continues its expression. If you sleep in fear, fear continues its expression. If you sleep in waiting, waiting continues its expression. But if you sleep in the state of fulfillment, fulfillment has been planted in the deep, and what is planted in the deep must seek its outer form. The seed does not argue. The seed grows according to its nature. Your state is the seed. Tonight, do not plant waiting. Do not plant fear. Do not plant absence. Do not plant the old story. Plant fulfillment. Plant already done. Plant I am the one who has received. Plant the state. Now if the mind says, but I do not see it, answer softly, I am not asked to see it first. I am asked to enter the state. If the mind says, but I do not know how, answer, the state contains its own bridge. If the mind says, but I have been disappointed before, answer, disappointment was a state, and I am free to leave it. If the mind says, but it feels far, answer, it is not far from consciousness. It is a state available now. The state contains its own evidence, bridge. This is most important. When you enter a state, you do not enter an empty dream. You enter a living pattern. A state is not merely a mood. It is a complete order of consciousness. It has its own thoughts, its own feelings, its own movements, its own relationships, its own events, its own road to expression. The state of fulfillment contains the bridge by which fulfillment appears. You do not need to bring the bridge from the old state. The bridge belongs to the new one. If you try to solve the desire from the state of lack, you will strain. If you try to find love from the state of not loved, you will plead. If you try to find money from the state of not supplied, you will chase. If you try to find peace from the state of panic, you will fight with your own mind. But if you enter the fulfilled state, the bridge begins to form from that state. The movements that follow will be different, because the inner man is different. This is why I say again, you do not travel through time to get the desire. You enter the state now. Time then becomes the means by which the state unfolds. To the senses, it may appear as a sequence of events. To the world, it may seem that one thing led to another. But the cause is not in the sequence. The cause is in the state. The events are only the bridge. So tonight, do not concern yourself with the bridge. Do not lie awake asking who will come, what will happen, how those questions belong to the old state. If they are asked in fear, the bridge is already contained in the fulfilled state. Enter the state and let the bridge serve the end. Your desire already exists as a state. Perhaps you can feel that now, even faintly. Perhaps the desire is no longer quite so distant. Perhaps it is less like a star beyond reach, and more like a room whose door is near. You need not rush through the door. You need not force yourself to feel intense emotion. You need only turn toward the fulfilled self and say, I will sleep here. I will not sleep tonight in the old room. I will not sleep in the room of waiting. I will not sleep in the room of asking. I will sleep in the room where it is done. Let the old room grow dim. The room where you worried all day, let it grow dim. The room where you rehearsed absence, let it grow dim. The room where you asked when, let it grow dim. The room where you felt forgotten, let it grow dim. The room where you tried to force the answer, let it grow dim. You are free to leave it now. In imagination, there is another room. It is quiet. It is already arranged. It does not shout. It does not need to prove itself. It is simply the atmosphere of the fulfilled desire. In that room, the desire is not being chased. It is not being questioned. It is not being negotiated. It is done. The air itself says, it is done. The body knows it. The inner speech knows it. The heart knows it. This is the room you enter before sleep. The fulfilled self is not far away. It is a state available now. Feel the difference between waiting and fulfillment. Waiting leans forward. Fulfillment settles. Waiting asks. Fulfillment knows. Waiting reaches. Fulfillment receives. Waiting checks. Fulfillment rests. Waiting says, what if it never happens? Fulfillment says, it is already mine in consciousness. Waiting sleeps with one eye open. Fulfillment. Tonight, you are learning to close both eyes as the fulfilled self. Not because the outer world has finished its rearrangement, but because the state has been accepted. Not because every appearance has bowed, but because consciousness has chosen. Not because reason has solved the matter, but because imagination has entered the end. You sleep not as one who has seen proof, but as one who has assumed the state from which proof must come. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. Let that sentence become part of the night. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. To sleep in love is to begin love's expression. To sleep in supply is to begin supply's expression. To sleep in freedom is to begin freedom's expression. To sleep in peace is to begin peace's expression. To sleep in the wish fulfilled is to begin the expression of the wish fulfilled. The deep does not need many words, it needs the state. If the words fade as you listen, if the images fade, let the feeling remain. If the feeling becomes faint, let the direction remain. You are moving from not yet to done, from longing to being, from distance to identity, from waiting to state. You do not create the state, you enter it. And because you enter it, you need not condemn the old state. Condemnation often keeps man attached to what he condemns. Do not fight the old state tonight. Simply leave it. If you are in a cold room, you do not need to curse. You step into warmth. If you are wearing a heavy garment, you do not need to debate it all night. You remove it and put on another. So it is with states. The old state may have been heavy, but it need not be permanent. You may take off waiting and put on fulfillment. Take off the state of waiting. Take off the state of not chosen. Take off the state of lack. Take off the state of fear. Take off the state of striving. Take off the state of distance and gently put on the state of already done. Put on the state of being loved. Put on the state of being supplied. Put on the state of being healed. Put on the state of being chosen. Put on the state of being successful. Put on the state of being free. Put on the state of being peaceful. Put on the state of being fulfilled. This is not mere language, this is identity. A state is worn like a garment, and man is often so accustomed to his garment that he calls it himself. He says, I am poor, I am lonely, I am unwanted, I am afraid, I am bound, I am waiting. But he is not those things. He is the wearer of states. The I am is pure being, and what follows it is the garment. Change the garment, change the state, change the world. Tonight, let I am wear fulfillment. I am fulfilled, I am loved, I am supplied, I am whole, I am chosen, I am free, I am at peace. They are not commands shouted at a reluctant universe. They are doors within consciousness. Enter only the one that belongs to your desire. If love is your desire, enter loved. If supply is your desire, enter supplied. If health is your desire, enter whole. If success is your desire, enter established. If peace is your desire, enter peace. If freedom is your desire, enter free. If the desire is nameless, enter fulfilled. Your desire already exists. You do not have to know every detail to enter the state. Sometimes the fulfilled state is very simple. It is a breath. It is relief. It is a sense of being safe. It is the absence of the old question. It is the feeling that the matter is settled. It is the quiet certainty that you are no longer standing outside. Do not make the state too complicated. The state of fulfillment is often calmer than the mind expects. Many think fulfillment must feel like excitement, but excitement is not always the deepest sign. Fulfillment often feels natural. It feels ordinary. It feels like life after the answer. It feels like the body saying, yes, this is now mine. It feels like returning home. The fulfilled self is not always shouting. Sometimes the fulfilled self is simply resting. And because this is a sleep journey, let the state be sleepy. Do not try to feel a great storm of emotion. Let the desire become natural enough to sleep in. If it is too exciting, you may remain outside it, admiring it as extraordinary. But when it becomes natural, it becomes inhabitable. You are not here to visit the fulfilled state for a moment and leave. You are here to dwell there as you fall asleep. The fulfilled self is not far away. It is a state available now. Let us make it simple. Ask inwardly. If my desire were already done, what would I no longer be asking? Perhaps you would no longer ask, will it happen? Perhaps you would no longer ask, am I worthy? Perhaps you would no longer ask, where is it? Perhaps you would no longer ask, why not me? Perhaps you would no longer ask, how long? The absence of that question is part of the state. Now ask, if my desire were already done, what would I naturally know? Perhaps you would know, I am loved, I am supplied, I am safe, I am chosen, I am free, I am healed, I am guided, I am established. Now ask, if my desire were already done, how would I fall asleep tonight? Would you fall asleep reaching or resting? Would you fall asleep begging or receiving? Would you fall asleep arguing or knowing? Would you fall asleep outside the door or within the room? This is the state. Do not hurry. Let the answers rise gently like stars appearing in the night. You do not need to form them perfectly. The deep understands feeling more than explanation. Give the deep the state, and the deep will work with it. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. This means that even before you see evidence, something has begun. The outer world may appear still, but the seed is not still. The bridge may be hidden, but hidden does not mean absent. The state contains its own motion. Once occupied, it begins to impress, to attract, to rearrange, to awaken new movements in the world. You need not supervise it tonight. You need not keep watch like a guard over the unseen. Sleep in the state and let expression begin. The fulfilled state contains its own evidence. That evidence may first be inward, a calmer breath, a lighter body, a new thought, a change in inner speech, a refusal to fear the old appearance. This inward evidence is not small. It is the first sign that you have moved rooms. Do not despise the inner change while waiting for the outer one. The outer follows the inner. The fulfilled state contains its own bridge. You may not see it tonight. You may not know tomorrow how it will unfold. But the bridge is not made by worry. The bridge is born of state. A man in one state meets one road. A man in another state meets another road. Change the state and the road changes. Therefore rest. The fulfilled state contains its own outcome. The state is not separate from its expression. As the oak is hidden in the acorn, the fulfilled outcome is hidden in the assumed state. Plant the state, water it with loyalty, sleep in it, return to it, let it become natural. The outcome belongs to it. Your desire already exists as a state. Now, very softly, choose the desire without strain. Do not name it with fear. Do not clutch it. Hold it lightly, as something already known by the inner man. Let the desire become a doorway. Behind the doorway is the state. Do not remain staring at the desire as an object. Enter the state it implies. If the desire were done, who would you be? If the desire were done, how would you breathe? If the desire were done, what would your heart no longer fear? If the desire were done, what sentence would be natural within you? Perhaps the sentence is simply, it is done. Perhaps it is, I am loved. Perhaps it is, I am free. Perhaps it is, I am provided for. Perhaps it is, I am well. Perhaps it is, the answer has come. Let that sentence arise, and let it carry you into the state. It is done, not someday, done, not if, done, not when the world agrees, done in consciousness, done as state, done as assumption, done as the inner fact from which the outer must take form. Now, if the senses whisper against it, let them whisper. They stand outside the room. You are entering another room. If reason says this is only imagination, remember that imagination is the only power by which any state is entered. What the world later calls reality begins here. The invisible is not powerless because it is unseen. It is the beginning. The fulfilled self is not far away. It is a state available now. Imagine, if you wish, that the fulfilled self is lying down where you are lying now, not in another land, not in another year, not under different stars, here, now. The same room, but a different state. The same bed, but a different identity. The same night, but a different inner atmosphere. That self closes the eyes not to escape life, but to rest in the fulfilled life. That self has the desire as an inner fact. That self does not lean into tomorrow. That self sleeps from the end. Become that self softly, not by effort, by assumption, not by force, by entering, not by argument, by rest. Let the body imitate. Let the breath slow as though it is done. Let the shoulders drop as though the answer has come. Let the face become quiet as though the desire is no longer distant. Let the hands open as though receiving is natural. Let the chest feel the atmosphere of one who has entered the state. You do not create the state, you enter it, so enter now. Enter through the breath, enter through the feeling, enter through the little sentence, enter through the end, enter through sleep. The old state may still be near, but it is not your master. A man may leave one room and still remember its furniture. That does not mean he remains there. You may remember the problem, but you need not dwell in it. You may remember the absence, but you need not sleep in it. You may remember the old name, but you need not answer to it. Tonight, answer only to fulfillment. If the old state calls you waiting, do not answer. If it calls you unloved, do not answer. If it calls you poor, do not answer. If it calls you weak, do not answer. If it calls you forgotten, do not answer. If it calls you outside, do not answer. Your new name is fulfilled. Your new room is the end. Your new state is already done. Your desire already exists as a state. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. Let the expression begin without your strain. Let it begin in silence. Let it begin beneath thought. Let it begin while you rest. Let the deep receive the fulfilled self. Let the inner man be clothed with the end. Let the night become the garden where the state is planted. Now, more slowly, return to the simple truth. Your desire exists as a state. You enter the state. The fulfilled self is available now. Sleep begins expression. Again, your desire exists as a state. You enter the fulfilled self is available now. Sleep begins expression. Again, softer. The state exists. I enter, the fulfilled self is near. I sleep in it. Again, it exists. I enter, it is done. I sleep. Let the mind become quiet around these words. There is nothing to chase. A state cannot be chased. There is nothing to beg. A state cannot be begged into existence. There is nothing to force. A state is entered. You do not force a room to contain you. You put it on. You do not force the fulfilled self to be far away. You assume it now. Your desire already exists as a state. There is a state where you are already loved. There is a state where you are already supplied. There is a state where you are already healed. There is a state where you are already chosen. There is a state where you are already successful. There is a state where you are already free. There is a state where you are already peaceful. There is a state where you are already fulfilled. And tonight you may sleep there, not wait there. Sleep there, not hope outside it. Sleep there, not stand at the door asking whether you may enter. Sleep there. The door is imagination. The key is assumption. The atmosphere is feeling. The rest is sleep. Enter the state now, even if gently. Enter it as one entering a quiet chamber at night. There is no need to make noise. There is no need to announce it to the world. There is no need to prove it to anyone. Enter silently. Close the door. Dwell in the end. Let sleep come upon the fulfilled state. The world will call it imagination until it appears, and then it will call it fact. But you will know where it began. It began in state. It began when you stopped waiting in consciousness. It began when you entered the room of already done. It began when you slept as the fulfilled one. So tonight, do not create the state. Enter it. Do not chase the desire. Occupy it. Do not worship the outer evidence. Wear the inner fact. Do not travel through time. Move in consciousness. Do not ask whether it is possible. All states exist. Choose the one that answers your desire. Your desire already exists as a state. The fulfilled self is not far away. To sleep in the state is to begin its expression. And now, as the body becomes heavier and the outer world grows dim, let this truth become a pillow for the mind. I do not need to reach for what already exists as a state. I enter it. I rest in it. I sleep in it. And as I sleep, the state begins its journey into form. Now let us come to the name that stands at the entrance of every state. It is the simplest name in the world, and yet it is the most profound. It is spoken by the child, by the old man, by the king, by the beggar, by the one who rejoices, and by the one who weeps. It is used so often that man forgets its majesty. He thinks it is merely a phrase of common speech, a small beginning to a sentence. But I tell you, it is the door by which you enter every state you have ever worn. I am is the door. Let that be taken slowly. I am is the door. Not a door made of wood or stone, but the inward door of identity. Every time you say I am, you stand at the entrance of a state. What follows those two words is not innocent. It is not merely description. It is selection. It is consent. It is an inward movement into a room of consciousness. What you place after I am becomes the state you wear. What you place after I am becomes the state you wear. If you say I am waiting, you do not merely describe waiting. You enter it. You clothe yourself with it. You make waiting your dwelling place. If you say I am lacking, you do not merely report lack. You accept lack as your name. If you say I am not chosen, you enter the state of not chosen. If you say I am afraid, fear becomes the garment of I am. If you say, I am forgotten, the world must find a way to reflect that name. Man does not understand how often he crowns his own limitation with the words I am. He says them carelessly in the morning and sadly at night. He places after them the very thing he says, I am tired of this. I am never answered. I am always behind. I am not loved. I am not wanted. I am unable. I am unlucky. I am still waiting. And then he wonders why the world continues to present the same face, but he has been faithful to a name. The world follows the state named by I am. So tonight before sleep, become gentle and careful with the name. Do not place the old burden after I am. Do not place absence. Do not take the holy door and open it into the very room you wish to leave. I am is the door. Choose the room. Do not say I am waiting. Say I am fulfilled. Do not say I am trying. Say I am living from the end. Do not say I am afraid. Say I am secure. Do not say I am lacking. Say I am supplied. Do not say I am unwanted. Say I am chosen. Do not say I am outside. Say I am within the fulfilled state. This is not a trick of. If the words are empty, they pass like leaves on water. But if the words are felt, accepted, and worn, they become a state. The purpose is not to repeat, I am fulfilled, as one who remains outside fulfillment. The purpose is to use, I am fulfilled as a doorway, and enter. I am fulfilled is not a phrase, it is a doorway. Say it inwardly now. Not loudly, not with strain, not with the effort of one trying to persuade the universe. Say it as one stepping across a threshold. Feel that you are not announcing something to the world. You are entering a room within yourself. I am fulfilled. You are moving from the state of waiting into the state of having received. You are leaving the outer report and entering the inner fact. You are no longer asking the senses whether you may be fulfilled. You are naming yourself from the end. I am fulfilled. Let the words become warm. Let them become slower. Let them become less like an affirmation and more like an address. The address of the house where you now live. I am fulfilled. I am the one whose desire is already done. I am the one who has received. I am the one who sleeps in the end. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. Not through begging, not through complaint, not through the constant confession that it is far. It enters when I am is joined to the fulfilled state. I am loved. I am supplied. I am healed. I am chosen. I am at peace. I am established. I am living in the end. Each one is a door. Each one is an entrance into a state already existing. You may have thought your desire was waiting outside you, asking for permission from events, but the desire enters through your own name. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. The world is not the first gate. I am is the gate. Men and women are not the first gate. I am is the gate. Money is not the first gate. I am is the gate. Money, circumstance is not the first gate. I am is the gate. What you accept yourself to be becomes the secret command that life must answer. Let us make this very simple, because sleep loves simplicity. If your desire concerns love, do not lie down saying, I am lonely. Do not say, I am not chosen. Do not say, I am waiting for someone to love me. Say, I am loved. I am chosen. I am wanted. I am secure in love. Let this not be a desperate cry, but a state you enter. Feel the body of one who does not beg to be cherished. Feel the quiet safety of one who is already received. If your desire concerns money, do not lie down saying, I am poor. Do not say, I am behind. Do not say, I am without. Say, I am supplied. I am provided for. I am one to whom the right channels open. I am secure in supply. Do not chase the outer symbol. Enter the inner name. If your desire concerns health, do not lie down saying, I am broken. Do not give I am to fear. Say, I am whole. I am restored. I am life. I am peace in the body. Let the body hear the name of wholeness. If your desire concerns success, do not lie down saying, I am unseen. Do not say, I am failing. Do not say, I am not enough. Say, I am established. I am successful. I am recognized. I am moving from the end. Let success become a state. Do not say, I am at the mercy of this world. Say, I am peace. I am stillness. I am held in the fulfilled state. Let the mind become obedient to the name. What you place after I am becomes the state you wear. Now do not fear that you have spoken unwisely before. Everyone has. Man sleeps until he awakens. He names himself by appearances until he learns that appearances are not cause. Do not waste this night grieving over former names. Simply choose now. The old name may have been repeated many times, but the new name can be accepted now. States are changed in consciousness, and the night is a merciful hour for changing states. You may hear the old name whisper, I am waiting. Do not fight it. Replace it. I am fulfilled. You may hear the old name whisper, I am afraid. Do not fight it. Replace it. I am secure. You may hear the old name whisper, I am lacking. Do not fight it. Replace it. I am supplied. I am not chosen. Do not fight it. Replace it. I am chosen. You may hear the old name whisper, I am still outside my desire. Do not fight it. Replace it. I am living from the end. This replacement must be gentle. If you fight the old name violently, you remain in relation to it. You keep it alive through battle. But if you turn from it quietly and enter the new name, the old state begins to lose its dwelling. The old name feeds on attention. Do not feed it. Give your attention to I am. Now, let us understand this deeply. I am is not merely a sound. It is being. When you say I am, you are touching the root of yourself. Before you say what you are, you are. Before you say I am rich or poor, loved or unloved, strong or weak, fulfilled or waiting, you are. That pure being is free. It can be clothed with any state. Man forgets his freedom and thinks the garment is himself. But the garment is not the wearer. The state is not the... Therefore, if you have occupied waiting, you are not waiting itself. You are the I am that has worn waiting. If you have occupied fear, you are not fear itself. You are the I am that has worn fear. If you have occupied lack, you are not lack itself. You are the I am that has worn lack. And because you are the wearer, you may remove the garment and put on another. Tonight, put on fulfillment, not later. Now, not after proof. Now, not after the world changes. Now, in consciousness, put on the fulfilled self. I am fulfilled. Let this become the garment of sleep. Let the night clothe you with it. Let the body become accustomed to it. Let the breath move inside it. Let the mind rest under it. Let the subconscious receive it as your new name. I am fulfilled. The body may still remember waiting, but give it a new name. The body may still hold the old posture, but let it be taught. The forehead that worried can soften under the name I am fulfilled. The eyes that searched can rest under the name I am fulfilled. The jaw that clenched can release under the name I am fulfilled. The chest that leaned forward can settle under the name I am fulfilled. The stomach that feared tomorrow can loosen under the name I am fulfilled. The hands that reached can open under the name I am fulfilled. Let the whole body be renamed. I am fulfilled in the forehead. I am fulfilled in the eyes. I am fulfilled in the mouth. I am fulfilled in the throat. I am fulfilled in the shoulders. I am fulfilled in the chest. I am fulfilled in the hands. I am fulfilled in the breath. I am fulfilled in the deep. This is how the name descends from a sentence into a state. It must not remain only in the lips. It must enter the body. It must enter the mood. It must enter the natural feeling of self. The words I am fulfilled are the door, but you must walk through. Walking through means feeling, even faintly, the identity of the one for whom the desire is already done. How does that one breathe? How does that one sleep? How does that one think of tomorrow? How does that one hear the old doubt? How does that one remember the desire? How does that one carry the body? Do not answer too much with the mind. Let the state answer. The one who has received breathes with less reaching. The one who has received sleeps with less fear. The one who has received does not keep asking how. The one who has received does not keep naming himself by absence. The one who has received has a quiet inward dignity. Enter that. I am the one who has received. Let it be said softly. I am the one who has received. Not I hope to receive. Not I am trying to receive. Not I may one day receive. I am the one who has received. This sentence is not for the outer world. It is for the deep. It is for the subconscious. It is for the inner man who has worn the old name too long and is now being clothed in the end. I am the one who has received. Again softly. I am the one who has received. Again slower. I am the one who has received. Let it stop being a sentence and become a posture. The posture of one who has received. The face of one who has received. The breath of one who has received. The quiet of one who has received. The sleep of one who has received. Do not say, I am waiting for the desire to choose me. Say, I am chosen by the fulfilled state. Do not say, I am waiting for evidence. Say, I am the evidence inwardly accepted. Do not say, I am waiting for the bridge. Say, I am in the end, and the bridge is forming. Do not say, I am waiting for life to change. Say, I am changed in consciousness, and life must follow. This is not arrogance, it is obedience to law. The humble man before God is not the man who calls himself helpless before appearances. True humility is submission to the creative truth within. I am is the door, and imagination is the power by which I enter. To call yourself less than the state desired is not humility, it is loyalty to the wrong state. Tonight be loyal to the fulfilled self. I am living from the end. Let that now join the others. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. These three are enough for sleep. They contain the whole movement. Fulfilled, received, the end. No chasing, no waiting, no asking the world for permission. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. Let the words circle slowly, like a quiet procession through the inner world. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. Again, I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. Fulfilled, received, the end. Now, if the mind asks what desire this applies to, let it apply to the desire you have brought into the night. You need not explain it. You need not decorate it with many details. Let the desire be gathered into the name I am fulfilled. The name is large enough to contain it. The state is large enough to contain the road, the answer, the confirmation, and the form. I am fulfilled is a door into the whole of it. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. If you name yourself by waiting, the desire remains outside your state. If you name yourself by fulfillment, the desire enters your identity. This is why I ask you not to sleep saying, I want it so badly. Wanting may confess distance if you dwell in it. Desire is beautiful, but fulfilled desire is the state. Tonight, do not sleep in the ache of wanting. Sleep in the quiet of having. I want to be loved becomes I am. I want to be supplied becomes I am supplied. I want to be free becomes I am free. I want to be healed becomes I am whole. I want to be chosen becomes I am chosen. I want to be successful becomes I am established. I want it to be done becomes I am living where it is done. The movement from want to I am is the movement from distance to identity. Let the desire lose distance now. It is not there while you are here. It enters through I am. It is a state you may name yourself with. When you say, I am fulfilled and feel it, you are no longer looking at the desire from across the waters. You have stepped into the land. What you place after I am becomes the state you wear. So tonight, wear the end, wear the answer, wear the fulfilled state, wear the quiet confidence of one who does not need to shout, wear the inward smile of one who knows, wear the rest of one who has received, wear the peace of one who has stopped asking whether fulfillment is allowed. It is allowed because it is assumed. It is assumed because I am has named it. I am fulfilled. Now let us make this suitable for sleep. Do not make I am a hard exercise. Do not grip the words. Do not repeat them in fear. Let them be soft enough to drift with you. If you become sleepy, let the words become shorter. I am fulfilled. Then perhaps only fulfilled. Then perhaps only the feeling. The word may fade, but the state remains. The state may become quiet, but the direction remains. You are no longer falling asleep as the one who waits. You are falling asleep through the door of I am, into the fulfilled self. I am is the door. See it inwardly, if you can, as a door in the silence of the night. On one side is the old name. I am waiting. I am lacking. I am not chosen. I am afraid. I am trying. I am outside. I am chosen. I am secure. I am living from the end. You do not need to argue with the old side. Simply cross. Cross in feeling. Cross in breath. Cross in assumption. Cross in sleep. The door is open. I am fulfilled. Let the words open the door. I am the one who has received. Let the words place you within the room. I am living from the end. Let the words close the door behind you. Now you are not outside. You are not waiting in the corridor of desire. You are in the fulfilled state is the room. The desire is done in this room. The body rests differently in this room. The inner speech changes in this room. The world has not yet been asked to testify, but the inner man has entered. That is enough for tonight. Do not look back every moment to see whether the old door is still there. It is enough that you have entered. Remain. If you drift out, return. If doubt speaks, return. If the senses whisper, return. Not by effort. A name is a return. I am the one who has received. A name is a return. I am living from the end. A name is a return. The fulfilled desire enters through the name, I am. Let this be your key when all else feels uncertain. If you do not know how to imagine, begin with I am. If you cannot see a scene, begin with I am. If you cannot hear a voice, begin with I am. If your mind is tired, begin with I am. If sleep is close, begin with I am. The name is simple enough for the drowsy mind and deep enough for the creative power. I am fulfilled. That is the key. I am the one who has received. That is the key. I am living from the end. That is the key. Now let the old self become less solid. The one who waited all day is not the eternal you. It is a state. The one who worried is not the eternal you. It is a state. The one who felt rejected is not the eternal you. It is a, it is a state. The one who struggled to believe is not the eternal you. It is a state. You are the I am, and you may enter another state now. I am is free. I am is not bound by yesterday's name. I am is not imprisoned by the senses. I am is not owned by lack. I am is not condemned to waiting. I am is the door, and tonight the door opens into fulfillment. Perhaps the desire has felt heavy because you have called yourself the one who does not have it. Perhaps it has felt far because you have named yourself waiting. Perhaps it has seemed impossible because you have named yourself by the old evidence. But a new name changes the direction of consciousness. I am fulfilled is not a denial of the desire. It is the acceptance of its completion. Feel how different it is to say, I am waiting for it, and then, I am fulfilled. One leans, the other rests. One asks, the other knows. One remains outside, the other enters. The other belongs to state. Tonight, choose the one that can sleep. I am fulfilled can sleep. I am the one who has received can sleep. I am living from the end can sleep. Waiting cannot sleep peacefully, because waiting keeps watching the road. Fulfillment can sleep, because it knows the bridge will form. Fear cannot sleep, because fear wants to supervise the world. Fulfillment can sleep, because the law works in silence. Lack cannot sleep, because it worships absence. Fulfillment can sleep because it has entered the unseen fact. So sleep as I am fulfilled. Sleep as I am the one who has received. Sleep as I am living from the end. Let the words become a lullaby for identity. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. Not waiting. Fulfilled. Not lacking. Fulfilled. Not rejected. Fulfilled. Not afraid. Fulfilled. Not outside. Fulfilled. I am fulfilled. My deeper mind receives the fulfilled state. My deeper mind no longer needs the old I am. My deeper mind is impressed with the end. My deeper mind accepts that I am the one who has received. The subconscious does not argue, as the surface mind argues. It receives the feeling carried into it. Carry the name gently. Carry it as you would carry a lamp into a dark room. Do not shout at the darkness. Bring the lamp. I am fulfilled is the lamp. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end is the lamp. Let the lamp burn softly. There is no need to force the flame. There is no need to explain the flame. There is no need to ask the darkness for permission. The lamp is enough. I am fulfilled. Now if sleep begins to come, let the words become fewer. I am fulfilled. I have received. I live from the end. Again, I am fulfilled. I have received. I live from the end. Again, fulfilled, received, the end. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. And now that name is entering the night with you. It is entering your breath. It is entering your body. It is entering your body. It is entering the secret place where states are accepted. You are not falling asleep as the old name. You are falling asleep as the fulfilled name. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. Let this be enough. Not many ideas, not many efforts. One door, one name. The bridge will form, the evidence will form, the world will follow. But tonight, the door is enough. Enter and rest. I am is the door. What you place after I am becomes the state you wear. Do not say, I am waiting. Say, I am fulfilled. The fulfilled desire enters through the name I am. And as you drift deeper, let the name remain like a soft sound beneath all thought. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. The desire is done in consciousness, and you may sleep as the one who has received. Now we come to the heart of the matter. The end is where you begin. Let that thought descend slowly, because it is the great reversal that sets man free from struggle. The end is where you begin. Not the road, not the method, not the explanation, not the sequence of events, not the question of who will help, when it will happen, by what means it will arrive, or through what door the answer will come. The end is where you begin. Most men begin with the road. They say, if only I knew how, then I could believe. If only I knew the person, the circumstance, the hour, the channel, the means, then I could rest. But they do not see that by beginning with the road, they remain outside the fulfilled state. They stand at the beginning of a path, looking anxiously toward a distant end, and all the while they call that anxiety life. But I tell you, do not begin with the road. Begin with the fulfilled fact. Do not begin with the road. Begin with the fulfilled fact. The road belongs to the end. The bridge belongs to the state. The manner of fulfillment belongs to the assumption accepted. If you begin with the road, you begin with ignorance, for you do not know all the ways by which life may move. But if you begin with the end, you begin with creative certainty. You begin where the desire is already done in consciousness, and from that inner completion, the road is formed. The end is not a place in time. It is not a date on a calendar. It is not some far-off hour waiting for you beyond the present moment. The end is a state within you. The end is the inner atmosphere that would be yours if the desire were already fulfilled. The end is what remains after the question has been answered. It is the body no longer reaching. It is the mind no longer pleading. It is the heart no longer measuring distance. It is the quiet self who knows it is done. The end is not ahead of you. The end is a state within you. This is why tonight, as you listen and grow still, I do not ask you to imagine how the thing will happen. I do not ask you to imagine yourself striving, persuading, forcing, begging, explaining, chasing, or arranging. That is not the end. That is the state of one who believes the desire is absent. If you imagine yourself trying to make it happen, you have not entered the end. You have entered the effort. If you imagine yourself waiting for it, you have not entered the end. You have entered delay. If you imagine yourself convincing someone, you have not entered the end. You have entered uncertainty. The end is after all that. The end is after the waiting. The end is after the question. The end is after the struggle. The end is after the proof has come. The end is after the desire is no longer distant. And yet you may enter that after now. That is the mystery. What appears to be after in time can be entered now in consciousness. You can stand inwardly where the thing is already completed. You can feel the mood of the one for whom the matter is no longer unsettled. You can take upon yourself the identity of the fulfilled man before the world has shown the evidence. And because consciousness is cause, that inward dwelling becomes the beginning of outward expression. The end is where you begin. Let us make it simple enough for sleep. If your desire were already fulfilled, you would not be lying here trying to make it happen. You would be resting after it has happened. You would not be arguing with absence. You would be dwelling in the quiet presence of fulfillment. You would not be forcing the bridge. You would be sleeping as one for whom the bridge has already served its purpose. You would not be asking, how will I get there? You would be there inwardly, so begin there. Live inwardly, where the desire is already done. Live inwardly, where the desire is already done. Not outwardly pretending for the approval of others, not speaking loudly to convince the world, not straining the mind to deny what the senses report. Inwardly, secretly, quietly, in the chamber of imagination. Live inwardly where the desire is already done. Let that be your resting place tonight. If you wanted love, the end is not the search for love. The end is being loved. It is the feeling of being cherished, chosen, known, and safe. It is not wondering whether someone will come. It is not asking whether you are enough. It is not rehearsing the absence of affection. The end is the quiet naturalness of being loved. Begin there. If you wanted money, the end is not the chase for money. The end is being supplied. It is relief. It is provision. It is the calm knowledge that what was needed has been met. It is not counting fear. It is not worshipping lack. It is not pleading with the outer world. The end is the feeling that supply belongs in your life naturally. Begin there. If you wanted health, the end is not struggling against the body. The end is wholeness. It is ease. It is natural life moving through you. It is not fearfully watching symptoms. It is not naming yourself by condition. It is not sleeping in resistance. The end is the peace of being restored. Begin there. If you wanted success, the end is not trying to be seen. The end is being established. It is recognition as natural. It is ability accepted. It is the feeling of having found your place. It is not pleading with the world to notice you. It is not rehearsing failure. It is not measuring yourself against appearances. The end is being the one who has arrived inwardly. Begin there. If you wanted freedom, the end is not rattling the bars. The end is open space. It is choice. It is movement. It is breathing without the old confinement. It is not dwelling in the prison of thought. It is not naming yourself trapped. The end is the state. Whatever the desire may be, do not begin with the difficulty. Do not begin with the distance. Do not begin with the history. Do not begin with the old explanation. Begin with the fulfilled fact. The end is where you begin. Man often says, I cannot live in the end because I do not yet know the means, but that is precisely why he must live in the end. The means are hidden in the state. The state contains its own road. The seed contains its own pattern. A little seed does not consult the soil on how to become a tree. The tree is hidden in it. So with the state, enter the fulfilled state, and the road to its expression is hidden within it. You do not need to dig inside the seed. Plant it. Let it grow. The conscious mind loves to ask how. It believes how is wisdom. Often how is only fear, wearing the robe of intelligence. It says be practical. Tell me the road. Show me the steps. Explain. But the true creative act does not begin with how. It begins with being. It begins with I am. It begins with the assumption of the fulfilled state. Do not begin with the road. Begin with the fulfilled fact. If you begin with the road, you may find 1,000 reasons to doubt. If you begin with the fulfilled fact, you stand in the only place where the road can form. If you begin with how, you are limited by the present mind. If you begin with the end, you are in contact with a wisdom deeper than the surface mind. If you begin with circumstance, you inherit the old world. If you begin with state, you create the new. Tonight, begin with state, begin with the end, begin with the feeling after. This word after is useful. The end is the after of your desire. After it has happened, after the answer has come, after the bridge has been crossed, after the matter is, after the money has arrived, after the body has been restored, after the door has opened, after the burden has lifted, after the thing that troubled you has lost its power. What would you feel after? Do not think too much. Feel after. The after of the fulfilled desire is often simple. It may be relief. It may be gratitude. It may be a quiet smile. It may be a relaxed breath. It may be the absence of the old question. It may be it may be the sense that you can now sleep. That after is the end. Enter it now. The mind may say, but I have not yet crossed the bridge. That does not matter tonight. The bridge is not your bed. The end is your bed. Do not sleep on the bridge. Sleep in the end. Do not sleep in the effort. Sleep in the fulfilled fact. Do not sleep in the middle of the story. Sleep in the last page, where the desire is accomplished and the heart is at rest. Imagine the end. If you were reading a book and you had suffered through many pages, and then you came to the final page where peace was restored, would you remain anxious about the earlier conflict? No, you would know where the story has gone. The end gives meaning to the road. So tonight, let the end give meaning to your life. Do not dwell on the unsettled chapter. Go to the final page inwardly. See that it is done. Feel the relief of it. Sleep there. Now, living in the end does not mean that you walk about foolishly denying the world with noise. It is a silent inward loyalty. It is carrying yourself inwardly as the one for whom the desire is fulfilled. It is returning again and again to the state after the answer. It is not dramatic. It is faithful. It is not loud. It is steady. It is not tense. It is natural. Especially at night, living in the end becomes gentle. During the day, he may move through the world, answer what must be answered, speak where he must speak, work where he must work. But at night, when the body grows still, he can withdraw from the unfinished appearance and enter the completed state. He can choose the inner atmosphere in which he will sleep. And what he sleeps in, he begins to become. Live inwardly where the desire is already done. Let us pause in that. Live inwardly where the desire is already. It would be in the feeling of relief. It would be in the knowing that the matter is settled. It would be in the body that no longer tightens around the question. It would be in the breath that no longer begs the future to be kind. It would be in the inner speech that no longer repeats absence. It would be in the quiet assumption. It is done. It is done. Not it will be done if I try hard enough. It is done. Not perhaps if the world agrees. It is done. Not one day, if every condition becomes perfect. It is done. In consciousness, in the end, in the state, in I am. The end is not ahead of you. The end is a state within you. If you keep the end ahead of you, you will chase. If you keep it in time, you will wait. If you keep it dependent upon others, you will feel powerless. But if you enter it as a state within you, you begin to possess it. Not outwardly first, but inwardly. And what is possessed inwardly, if faithfully assumed, must find its outer clothing. Do not be troubled if the state first feels delicate. Many expect the end to come like thunder. Often it comes like a small lamp in a quiet room, a little relief, a little feeling of yes, a single moment where the desire no longer feels impossible, a small inward movement from longing to having. Do not despise it. The end does not need to be noisy to be, it grows in silence. Now consider what it means to stop imagining the process. The process is filled with uncertainty when viewed from the old state. If you imagine yourself trying to persuade someone, you remain in the state of one who is not yet accepted. If you imagine yourself desperately seeking money, you remain in the state of one who is not supplied. If you imagine yourself fighting a condition, you remain in the state of one who is bound to the condition. If you imagine yourself waiting for a door to open, you remain outside the door. The end is not persuasion, it is acceptance. The end is not begging, it is having. The end is not seeking, it is receiving. The end is not struggle, it is completion. The end is not the road, it is arrival. Therefore tonight, do not imagine trying. Do not imagine begging. Do not imagine convincing. Do not imagine waiting. Tonight, the imagination must be used not to repeat the journey, but to occupy the destination. Do not begin with the road, begin with the fulfilled fact. If you begin with the fulfilled fact, the body will know. The body of the one who is trying is different from the body of the one who has received. The body of trying leans, it tightens, it watches, it prepares for disappointment. The body of fulfillment rests, it settles. The end is where the body relaxes, because the question has been answered. Let your body enter the answered state. Let the forehead feel as though the answer has come. Let the eyes feel as though they no longer need to search. Let the jaw feel as though it no longer needs to plead. Let the shoulders feel as though the burden is not yours to carry. Let the chest feel as though the desire is no longer far. Let the hands feel as though receiving is natural. Let the breath feel as though the end is already accepted. This is living in the end for sleep. It is not complex. It is the body and mind gently agreeing with the fulfilled state. The body does not have to know how. The body must know done. The mind does not have to know the road. The mind must know the end. The deep does not need explanation. The deep needs impression. The end is where you begin. If the desire were already fulfilled, perhaps tension, let it leave. Perhaps the need to check, let it leave. Perhaps resentment toward delay, let it leave. Perhaps the old sadness of not having, let it leave. Perhaps the constant inward question, let it leave. The end is not something added only, it is also something removed. The removal of the question, the removal of waiting, the removal of the belief that the world must first give permission, the removal of the old name. And when these are removed, the state of fulfillment becomes easier to feel. Do not ask, what must I do to make it happen? Ask, who am I now that it is done? The first question often belongs to the road. The second belongs to the end. Who am I now that it is done? I am relieved. I am secure. I am loved. I am supplied. I am chosen. I am whole. I am established. I am free. I am at peace. I am fulfilled. Not who must I become through struggle. Who am I now that it is done? Not how will the world change. Who am I now that it is done? Not what road will appear. Who am I now that it is done? The answer is the end. Now let the desire be gathered into one quiet, fulfilled fact. You need not describe every detail. The end is often more powerful when it is simple. It is done. That may be enough. I have received. That may be, I am free. That may be enough. The answer has come. That may be enough. Sleep does not require a long argument. It requires a state simple enough to carry into the deep. It is done. I have received. I live from the end. Let these be like soft steps into the inner chamber. It is done. I have received. I live from the end. Again, it is done. I have received. I live from the end. Now do not force the feel. It may feel like naturalness rather than surprise. It may feel like peace rather than triumph. This is good. The fulfilled life, once accepted, becomes natural. Do not make the desire so extraordinary that you keep it at a distance. Let it become familiar. Let it become ordinary enough to sleep in. If you had the desire already, after the first excitement passed, you would sleep, you would eat, you would walk, you would speak, you would live. So tonight, go beyond excitement into natural possession. Feel not only the moment of getting, but the quiet after of having. The after of having is the end. Live inwardly, where the desire is already done. There is a room in consciousness where you no longer talk about the desire as something absent. Enter that room. There is a place where your inner speech has changed. Enter that place. There is an atmosphere where the desire belongs naturally. There is a self who has already crossed the line. Enter that self. You are not trying to drag the desire into the old state. You are leaving the old state and entering the fulfilled one. This is why many fail. They try to obtain the new desire while remaining the old self. They remain inwardly the one who lacks, the one who waits, the one who is rejected, the one who is afraid, and they try to attach the desired thing to that identity. But enter the state, and the desire is at home. Remain in the old state, and the desire appears foreign. So do not attempt to bring fulfillment into waiting. Leave waiting. Enter fulfillment. Do not attempt to bring love into unloved. Leave unloved. Enter loved. Do not attempt to bring supply into lack. Leave lack. Enter supplied. Do not attempt to bring peace into panic. Leave panic. Enter peace. Do not attempt to... The end is where you begin. Let the old state be left without ceremony. You do not need to announce your departure. You do not need to explain it to fear. You do not need to seek permission from memory. You simply move inwardly. The old room remains only if you keep sleeping in it. Tonight you sleep elsewhere. You sleep in the end. You sleep where the desire is done. You sleep in the room of answered prayer. You sleep in the atmosphere of already having. You sleep as the one who no longer waits. The bridge may form while you sleep. The world may begin its movement in silence. The right word may be prepared. The right meeting may be arranged. The right impulse may rise tomorrow. The right event may come in its hour. But none of this is your concern tonight. Your concern is the end. The bridge is born after the end is accepted. Do not begin with the road. Begin with the fulfilled fact. If you insist upon one road, you may imprison the desire in your limited knowledge. But if you enter the end, you free the law to use roads you could not have planned. The end knows its own way. The state knows its own expression. You are not wiser in fear than the law is in silence. Trust the state. The end is not ahead of you. The end is a state within you. Return to this whenever the mind wanders. The end is not ahead of me. I do not chase the road. I do not force the method. I do not rehearse the struggle. I live inwardly where the desire is already done. Let the words become yours in the quiet. The end is not ahead of me. The end is a state within me. I enter the end. I live where it is done. I sleep from fulfillment. Again softly. The end is within me. I enter the end. It is done. I sleep. This is how the night becomes. You place your body in the mood of the wish fulfilled. You place your inner speech in completion. You place the subconscious under the impression of done. Then you rest. If you find yourself imagining the process, gently return. If you see yourself trying to convince someone, return. If you see yourself checking for signs, return. If you see yourself wondering when, return. Do not condemn yourself. The mind has been trained to travel the road. Bring it. Return to the end as often as needed. Return softly. Return without anger. Return without fear. Return without effort. Return as one returning to bed. The end is home. The end is where you begin. Think of how different sleep becomes when you stop carrying the road. The road is heavy. It asks for plans. It asks for answers. It asks for the cooperation of many moving parts. It asks the mind. The end says, the bridge is not your burden. The end says, the law works in silence. Tonight, you are allowed to rest before knowing how. You are allowed to feel fulfilled before seeing evidence. You are allowed to enter peace before the world explains itself. You are allowed to sleep in the answer before the answer is visible. You are allowed to begin at the end. Let that permission soften you. You may begin at the end. You may begin with the fulfilled fact. You may begin with already done. You may begin with I am the one who has received. Not because the senses have agreed, but because consciousness is cause. Now as the body grows heavier, let the desire become less of a question and more of a finished atmosphere. If there is a scene, let it be after. If there is a voice, let it speak after. If there is a feeling, let it be after. If there is only a phrase, let it be after. It came perfectly. I am at peace now. These are not words of the road. They are words of the end. Let them drift through you, not as effort, but as truth chosen. The end is where you begin. The end is where the body relaxes because the question has been answered. Let the question be answered now within you, not by explanation, but by state. The question may have been, will it happen? The end answers, it is done. The question may have been, will I be provided for? The end answers, I am supplied. The question may have been, can I be free? The end answers, I am free. The question may have been, will I find peace? The end answers, I am peace. Let the answer be the state, and let the state be enough for sleep. You do not need the whole world to change before your body may rest. The body may rest in the assumed end. The mind, and this rest is not wasted. Rest in the end is creative rest. It is rest that plants the state. It is rest that gives the subconscious a new pattern. It is rest that allows the bridge to form without anxious supervision. Live inwardly, where the desire is already done. Now, if sleep is near, do not hold yourself awake to understand more. Understanding can continue another day. Tonight, receive. Let the teaching become a feeling. The end does not need you tense. The end invites rest. Do not begin with the road. Begin with the fulfilled fact. Do not begin with the struggle. Begin with the relief. Do not begin with the question. Begin with the answer. Do not begin with trying. Begin with having. Do not begin with waiting. Begin with done. Again softer. Begin with done. Begin with received. Begin with fulfilled. Begin with the end. Let the words be, I have received. I live from the end. Again, it is done. I have received. I live from the end. Again, done. Received. The end. Again, done. Received. The end. The end is not ahead of you. The end is a state within you, and you may enter it now, in the darkness, in the quiet, before the world has changed, before the senses have reported, before reason has explained, before the bridge has appeared. You may enter. The end is where you begin, and tonight you begin where your desire is already done. You do not begin as the one who hopes. You begin as the one who has received. You do not begin as the one who chases. You begin as the one who rests. You do not begin as the one who waits. You begin as the one who lives from the end. Let this be the state carried into sleep. Let the whole night know it. Let the deep receive it. Let the old road fade. Let the fulfilled. You are not sleeping in the middle of the struggle. You are sleeping at the end. You are sleeping after the answer. You are sleeping in the fulfilled desire. And from this end, the world will learn what you have accepted. Now let the teaching descend from the mind into the body. For it is one thing to say, it is done. It is another to let the body sleep as though it were done. It is one thing to speak of fulfillment. It is another to let the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the chest, the hands, the stomach, and the breath bear witness to the fulfilled state. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. Let that be received slowly. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. Waiting has a body. Fulfillment has a body. Lack has a body. Love received has a body. Fear has a body. It moves through your flesh, through your breath, through your posture, through the quiet or unrest with which you lie down at night. If a man is waiting, his body often tells the story before his lips do. His brow is drawn toward tomorrow. His eyes are closed, perhaps, but inwardly they are searching. His jaw holds the unsaid argument. His shoulders carry what imagination has not released. His chest leans forward, as though the desire were ahead of him. His hands are not hands of receiving, they are hands of grasping. His stomach tightens around uncertainty. His breath becomes small, as though life itself were asking for proof. That is the body of waiting. And if that body is carried into sleep, sleep receives waiting. Not because sleep is unkind, but because sleep receives the state. The deep does not ask whether the state was wise or foolish. It receives what man gives it. If he gives the body of fulfillment, the deep receives fulfillment. So tonight, do not give the deep a body still reaching for the desire. Give it the body of one who has received. Relax into the body of the one who has received. This is not make-believe in the shallow sense. It is the assumption made physical. It is the word becoming flesh in you. It is the inner state taking shape through the body before the outer world has had time to follow. If I say I am fulfilled, and yet the whole body continues to cry, I am waiting, then I must lovingly teach the body the new name. I do not condemn it, I do not force it, I do not strike it with effort, I teach it by feeling. Let your body know it is already done. Let your body know it is already done. Not by argument, Not by pressure, not by repeating words in fear. Let it know through release. Let it know through softness. Let it know through the inward permission to stop reaching. Begin with the forehead. The forehead is often the place where man gathers tomorrow. He brings all unfinished things there: the question, the plan, the fear, the calculation, the memory, the waiting, the effort to understand. He lies down, and the forehead remains awake like a little council of worried voices. But the one who has received does not hold tomorrow in the forehead. The fulfilled self does not press the brow against the future. So let the forehead soften now. Let it smooth as though the answer has come. Let it release the need to know every step. Let it cease trying to open the door by thought alone. Let the forehead of waiting become the forehead of fulfillment. There is nothing to solve there tonight. The end has been assumed. The bridge belongs to the state. The law works in silence. Let the forehead rest. Now the eyes, even when the eyes are closed, they may be looking. They may look for signs in memory. They may look for evidence in imagination. They may look at the old world and ask whether anything has changed. The eyes of waiting are not at rest. They are inwardly searching the road. But the eyes of fulfillment have no need to search. They can close because they are not trying to find what is already accepted within. Let the eyes rest now. Let them stop looking for proof. Let them stop searching the darkness for signs. Let them stop measuring the distance between now and the desire. Let them become the eyes of the one who knows. The fulfilled self does not grip the night. The fulfilled self does not grip the night with the eyes, as though sleep must be watched and guarded. The fulfilled self can close the eyes inwardly as well as outwardly. It can allow the dark to be friendly. It can allow sleep to be the chamber where the assumption is sealed. Now, the jaw holds many arguments. It holds the words you did not speak. It holds the defense of your desire. It holds the explanations you have been preparing for the world. It holds the old need to justify why you may receive. But the one who has received is not arguing for permission. The fulfilled self does not plead at the gate. The fulfilled self is already inside. Let the jaw release. Let the teeth separate slightly, if they wish. Let the tongue rest. Let the mouth no longer prepare the old story. Let the jaw of waiting become the jaw of peace. You do not need to explain to anyone tonight why your desire is possible. You do not need to defend it. You do not need to tell the world how it will be done. In the secret place, it is already done. Let the jaw know that. Now the throat. Many desires have been strained through the throat. Man has said, why not, when, how. He has repeated old names. He has confessed absence. He has prayed from fear and then wondered why fear remained. Tonight, let the throat be still. Let the voice return to the deeper name. I am fulfilled. I am the one who has received. I am living from the end. Let the throat no longer carry the cry of waiting. Let it carry the quiet of the fulfilled state. There is no need to speak outwardly. The inner word is in. The shoulders often carry the road. Man thinks he must carry the whole bridge. He imagines he must carry the people, the timing, the circumstances, the resistance, the proof, the possible failure, the possible delay. And so his shoulders remain high and tense, even in bed. But the bridge is not carried by the shoulders. The bridge is formed by the state. The shoulders of the fulfilled self do not carry the method. Let the shoulders fall. Let them let the weight of how leave them. Let the weight of when leave them. Let the weight of who leave them. Let the weight of proving leave them. Let the shoulders become the shoulders of one who has already received. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. Let the shoulders teach this to the deep. As they fall, they say, I am not carrying the desire by force. I am not holding the world together. I am not dragging the future into place. The chest is very tender in desire. It expands with hope and contracts with fear. It leans forward when man waits. It closes when he doubts. It tightens when he feels rejected by appearances. But the chest of the fulfilled self is different. It does not have to lean into tomorrow. It does not have to collapse around the old report. It can open gently because the desire is no longer far from consciousness. Let the chest soften. Let it open without effort. Let the heart stop leaning. Let the chest feel as though the desire has come near. Let it feel as though the question has been answered. Let it feel as though the inner man has entered the room of completion. The fulfilled self breathes differently. The fulfilled self breathes differently, not violently, not proudly, not in excitement alone. It breathes with a quiet naturalness. It breathes as one who is allowed to be. It breathes as one no longer asking whether fulfillment. It breathes as one who has entered the state. So now let the breath change, but do not force it. Do not command the breath like a master over a servant. Invite it into the state. Let it slow because the body no longer needs to run. Let it deepen because the desire is no longer outside the door. Let it become steady because the end has been accepted. Inhale as one who has received. Exhale as one who no longer waits. Inhale as I am fulfilled. Exhale as it is done. Again, softly, inhale fulfillment. Exhale waiting. Inhale receiving. Exhale reaching. Inhale the end. Exhale the old question. This is not a breathing exercise in the mechanical sense. It is the breath becoming faithful to the state. The breath of waiting says, I must get there. The breath of fulfillment says, I am there inwardly now. They hold the blanket, the body, the thought, the desire, the old fear. Even if they are still, inwardly they reach. The hands of fulfillment are different. They are not empty in the same way. They are open, not because they are begging, but because receiving is natural. They are calm, because the desire belongs to the state. They do not grasp at the world. They rest in the assumption. Let the hands soften. Let the fingers release. Let the palms become. Let them no longer clutch the desire. Let them become hands that have received. If your desire were already done, how would your hands rest? Perhaps they would lie gently. Perhaps they would open a little. Perhaps they would no longer tighten around the night. Let them show you. Let them take the shape of received. The body should become the witness of the wish fulfilled. That is what we are doing. We are allowing the body to testify before the senses do. The world may not yet, the body can. The world may not yet say, it is done. The breath can. The letter may not yet have arrived. The shoulders can drop as though it has. The voice may not yet have been heard outwardly. The chest can open as though it has. The mirror may not yet have changed. The body can become the first witness. Let the body become the witness of the wish fulfilled. Now the stomach is often where tomorrow is feared. It tightens around uncertainty. It carries the question, what if? What if it does not happen? What if the desire remains far? What if the old condition continues? What if I am disappointed again? The stomach takes these questions and holds them as tension. But the fulfilled self does not hold tomorrow as an enemy. The fulfilled self lets tomorrow serve the state. Let the stomach soften. Let the middle of the body release. Let the old what if loosen. Let tomorrow stop being a threat. Let the body know that the bridge belongs to the law. Let the stomach of waiting become the stomach of rest. You do not need to digest fear tonight. You do not need to swallow uncertainty. You do not need to carry the old question in the body. Let the state carry you instead. I am fulfilled. The desire is done in consciousness. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. The body can rest. Now the back. The back has carried much. It has carried days, years, memories, disappointments, responsibilities, old names, old identities. But tonight, let the back be held by the surface beneath it. Let the bed carry what the body no longer needs to carry. Let the back surrender to support. The one who has received does not need to hold himself rigid against life. He can be supported. Let the back become heavy. Let it give itself to rest. Let the spine no longer stand in defense. Let the body be held. Let support be felt as a symbol of the state. If the bed holds the body, let imagination hold the desire. If the night holds the room, let consciousness hold the end. You are not falling through emptiness. You are resting in the fulfilled state. Now the legs of waiting are ready to run. The whole body of waiting prepares for pursuit. It says, I must go, I must find, I must chase, I must make it happen. But tonight, you are not running toward the desire. You are sleeping where it is done. The legs need not carry you to the end. Consciousness enters the end now. Let the legs become still. Let the knees soften. Let the feet release the road. Let the soles of the feet no longer press toward tomorrow. Let the whole lower body know there is nowhere to run tonight. The end is not reached by physical distance. The end is entered by assumption. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Again, hear that phrase. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Do not merely think of the one who has received. Relax into that one. Take the shape of that one. Breathe as that one. Rest as that one. Let the body participate in the assumption. Let sleep receive not a body of longing, but a body of fulfilled identity. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. The body of waiting says, where is it? The body of fulfillment says, it is done. The body of waiting says, how will it come? The body of fulfillment says, the bridge is forming. The body of waiting says, I must stay awake and solve it. The body of fulfillment says, the law works in silence. The body of waiting says, I cannot rest until the world changes. The body of fulfillment says, I rest and the world follows the state. Let the body choose fulfillment. Now, if you find tension remaining somewhere, do not fight it. Do not say, I am failing. Tension is only an old messenger. Thank it and give it the new message. If the forehead remains tight, whisper inwardly, it is already done. If the chest remains heavy, whisper inwardly, I am fulfilled. If the stomach remains uncertain, whisper inwardly, the bridge belongs to the state. If the hands still grip, whisper inwardly, I receive. Do not fight the body, teach it. Teach it as one would calm a child at night, not with harshness, with assurance. The body has believed appearances for a long time. It has been trained by the senses. It has responded to the old world. Now it is being trained by imagination. Now it is learning the fulfilled state. Be gentle with it. Let your body know it is already done. Let your body know through the brow. Let your body know through the eyes. Let your body know through the jaw. Let your body know through the shoulders. Let your body know through the chest. Let your body know through the hands. Let your body know through the stomach. Let your body know through the breath. Let your body know through sleep. The fulfilled self does not grip the night. The fulfilled self does not grip the night. He does not lie in bed holding the desire by force. He does not watch the dark as though some danger will steal the assumption away. He does not repeat words in panic. He does not ask the body to remain awake as proof of faith. The fulfilled self can sleep. That is one of the signs of fulfillment, the ability to let go. If you truly had received, would you not sleep? If the answer had come, would you not allow the body to rest? If the desire were no longer uncertain, would you not release the night from your grip? Then release it now. Let sleep become the act of faith. Let the body's rest say, I have received. This is a great secret. Rest can be a confession of fulfillment. Tension often confesses, not yet. Rest confesses done. Not always in words, but in state. When you rest as the fulfilled one, the body speaks to the deep. It says, this is the state I accept. This is the self I am. This is the world I am preparing to meet. So let rest become your confession. I do not confess waiting. I confess fulfillment. I do not confess fear. I confess the end. I do not confess absence. I confess I am. The body of the one who has received is not careless. It is not dull. It is not asleep to life. It is inwardly settled. It knows that the creative act has been placed in the deep. It knows that the seed has been planted. It knows that the bridge is not built by muscular tension. It knows that a clenched body does not prove devotion. It knows that fulfillment can be quiet. Let your fulfillment be quiet tonight. Let it be in the breath rather than in argument. Let it be in the shoulders rather than in explanation. Let it be in the hands rather than in grasping. Let it be in the stomach rather than in fear. Let it be in the whole body as rest. Now perhaps you can sense the difference between the body you brought into the night and the body you are entering now. The first may have been alert, restless, checking, holding, wondering. The second is softer. It may not be perfect, but it is softer. That softness is important. It is the doorway through which the state enters the flesh. The body is beginning to agree. Do not demand that it agree completely at once. A little agreement is enough to begin. A softened breath is agreement. A released jaw is agreement. A falling shoulder is agreement. A quiet hand is agreement. A less fearful stomach is agreement. A body willing to sleep is agreement. To sleep as the one who has received, the body need only move in the direction of received. Move gently. Move softly. Move inwardly. Move now. I am fulfilled. The body hears. I have received. The body hears. It is done. The body hears. I live from the end. The body hears. Sleep will receive this body. This body no longer belongs to waiting. It belongs to fulfillment. Sleep will receive this breath. This breath no longer belongs to fear. It belongs to the end. Sleep will receive this posture. This posture no longer belongs to chasing. It belongs to receiving. Let sleep receive a body no longer waiting. That is the purpose of this moment. Not to solve the outer world. Not to make the mind perfectly still. Not to see everything with perfect clarity. but to give sleep a body that is moving away from waiting and into fulfillment. A body that says, I do not chase tonight, I do not force tonight, I do not stand outside the fulfilled state tonight. I enter and I rest. Now allow the whole body to be one field of the fulfilled state. The forehead is fulfilled. The eyes are fulfilled. The jaw is fulfilled. The shoulders are fulfilled. The chest is fulfilled. The hands are fulfilled. The stomach is fulfilled. The back is fulfilled. The legs are fulfilled. The breath is fulfilled. The whole body is fulfilled. Do not worry whether the words are literally felt in every part. Let them wash over you. The deep understands rhythm. The body understands suggestion. Let the words bathe the body in the state. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. Let the whole body rest. Let your body know it is already done. Let the whole body know. The fulfilled self does not grip the night. Let the night be released. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Relax now, received in the forehead, received in the eyes, received in the jaw, received in the shoulders, received in the chest, received in the hands, received in the stomach, received in the breath, received in the deep. Now imagine, if it helps, that the desire has already been fulfilled, and this is simply the night after, not the night before, the night after. The night after the answer came, the night after the burden lifted, the night after the bridge was crossed, the night after the thing was done. How does the body lie on the night after? It does not reach the same way. It does not fear the same way. It does not ask the same way. It rests. Let this be the night after in consciousness. The outer world may call it before. Consciousness calls it after. The senses may call it not yet. Imagination calls it done. Reason may call it waiting. Assumption calls it received. Let the body obey assumption. This is the night after. The answer has come in consciousness. The fulfilled state has been entered. The desire is done within. The bridge will follow. The law works in silence. The body may rest. The body may rest. The body may rest. The body may rest. Let the phrase become, the body may rest. It has permission. It is not betraying the desire by resting. It is agreeing with fulfillment. It is not giving up. It is entering the end. It is not forgetting. It is planting. It is not abandoning the desire. It is sleeping as the one who has received. The body may rest again. The body may rest again. The body may rest. Now return gently to the central truth. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. My body no longer needs to reach. My body may rest in fulfillment. Let your body know it is already done. My body knows it is done. The fulfilled self does not grip the night. I release the night. Relax into the body of the one who has received. I relax into received. Again slower. I relax into received. I relax into received. I relax into received. I relax into received. Let received be a feeling, not merely a word. Received means the reaching has ended. Received means the hands can. Received means the forehead can rest. Received means the old question can dissolve. Received means the body belongs to the end. You have received in consciousness. Now let the body agree, perhaps not loudly, perhaps not perfectly, but gently, gently enough for sleep. And if sleep begins to come, let it take this relaxed body into the deep. Let it take the fulfilled forehead, the rested eyes, the softened jaw, the lowered shoulders, the open chest, the quiet hands, the released stomach, the slow breath. Let sleep take the body of the one who has received. There is nothing more for the body to prove tonight. There is nothing more for the muscles to hold. There is nothing more for the jaw to argue. There is nothing more for the eyes to seek. There is nothing more for the shoulders to carry. There is nothing more for the hands to grasp. There is nothing more for the stomach to fear. There is only the state. I am fulfilled. I have received. I live from the end. The body rests. The body rests. The body rests. Let the body become prayer without words. Let its softness be the prayer. Let its release be the assumption. Let its breath be the confession. Let its sleep be the seal. A relaxed body in the fulfilled state is not passive. It is creative. It is the word enter. It is the state taking form in the temple of the body before it takes form in the world. So do not despise relaxation. Tonight, relaxation is not merely comfort. It is fidelity to the end. To relax as the one who has received is to stop giving the body to waiting. It is to say with every loosened muscle, the desire is not far. It is to say with every slower breath, the state is accepted. It is to say with every softened place, I no longer live from absence. The body of waiting reaches. The body of fulfillment rests. And now, my friend, rest. Rest from waiting. Rest from reaching. Rest from asking. Rest from watching. Rest from trying to carry the bridge. Rest from the old posture. Rest from the old name. Rest in the body of the one who has received. The night does not need your grip. The law does not need your tension. The bridge does not need your fear. The desire does not need your anxious reaching. The fulfilled state asks only to be occupied. Occupy it now. Occupy it with breath. Occupy it with softness. Occupy it with sleep. I am fulfilled. I have received. It is done. My body knows. My body rests. My body sleeps in the end. And as the body rests, the state descends deeper. As the state descends deeper, the old waiting fades. As the old waiting fades, the fulfilled self becomes more natural. As the fulfilled self becomes more natural, sleep can receive it. And as sleep receives it, the expression has begun. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Relax into the body of the one who has received. Now let there be less effort, less thought, less reaching, less waiting, more rest, more softness, more receiving, more end. The body is becoming quiet. The body is becoming fulfilled. The body is becoming the witness. The body is becoming the prayer. The body is becoming the state. And now you may drift not as one still waiting for the desire, but as one whose very breath says, it is already done. Now, my friend, let us remove a burden that many unknowingly place upon themselves. They hear that imagination creates reality. They hear that assumption hardens into fact. They hear that they must live in the end. And then, because they have not yet understood the gentleness of the law, they begin to force belief. They strain the mind, they press the feeling. They examine themselves to see whether they believe enough. They lie down at night, not in peace, but in another kind of labor. And they say, I must believe, I must believe, I must believe, as though belief were a door to be broken down with the fists. But I tell you, do not force belief. Enter the feeling. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. The law is not mental violence. The law is not an inward punishment. The law is not a command to wrestle with yourself through the night. You are not here to beat the mind into submission. You are not here to torture the heart into certainty. You are not here to remain awake until every doubt is conquered. You are here to enter a state softly enough that sleep may receive it. The fulfilled state is often quiet. The fulfilled state is often quiet. It does not always come as thunder. It does not always come as ecstasy. It does not always come with a great rush of emotion. Sometimes it comes as a small release in the body. Sometimes it comes as a calmer breath. Sometimes it comes as the faint sense that perhaps the thing is not so far. Sometimes it comes as a little inward sentence. It is done, spoken without excitement, but with rest. Sometimes the fulfilled state is so simple that the anxious mind overlooks it. Do not overlook quiet fulfillment. There is a kind of effort that belongs to the old state. It says, I must make this happen. I must force myself to believe. I must feel it strongly, or it will not work. I must see it clearly, or it cannot be accepted. I must have no doubt, no wandering thought, no heaviness, no sleepiness, no interruption. And so the person who came to the night for peace turns the night into a field of struggle. He tries to create fulfillment from tension, but tension is often only another form of waiting. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. If you shout within yourself, it is done. While the whole body trembles in opposition, you may only be shouting at doubt. But if you gently feel, even for one quiet moment, that the desire is done, and you allow that feeling to be real enough to rest in, you have entered the door. Do not measure the power of the state by its noise, measure it by its acceptance. A seed is not noisy, yet it carries the tree. A root does not shout beneath the ground, yet it supports the branches. The womb of creation is hidden, yet from it the visible world appears. So let your assumption be quiet, if it wishes to be quiet. Let it be sleepy. Let it be ordinary. Let it be natural. You are not trying to impress the outer world tonight with drama. You are impressing the deep with state. Sleep does not require strain. Sleep receives the state. Sleep does not require strain. Sleep receives the state. If you carry strain into sleep, the deep receives strain. If you carry fear of not believing enough, the deep receives fear. If you carry the anxious examination of your own imagination, the deep receives anxiety. But if you carry even a small feeling of the wish fulfilled, a simple inward rest, A quiet I am fulfilled. The deep receives that. It does not need a spectacle, it needs a seed. Many people are exhausted not because the law is difficult, but because they try to use it from the state of difficulty. They imagine and then look at themselves and say, did I feel it enough? Did I believe enough? Was the scene vivid enough? Was the emotion strong enough? Did I repeat it correctly? Did I hold it long enough? And by these questions they leave the end and return to the road. They turn imagination into self-judgment. They forget that the fulfilled self is not measuring technique. The fulfilled self is resting in being. Tonight, you do not need to be perfect. You do not need perfect visualization. You do not need perfect belief. You do not need perfect feeling. You do not need perfect words. You need only turn inwardly toward the end and accept it as gently as you can. If all you can feel is a little relief, let that be enough. If all you can feel is one breath of completion, let that be enough. If all you can feel is a faint possibility that the desire is already done in consciousness, let that be enough. If the feeling comes and goes, do not panic. Return softly. A faint feeling accepted is enough to begin. A faint feeling accepted is enough. Let that comfort you. A faint feeling accepted is enough, not because faintness is the goal, but because acceptance is the power. A man may have a great emotional storm and yet doubt it immediately. Another may have only a quiet moment of conviction, and that quiet moment may be fertile. The law is not deceived by outward intensity. It responds to the state accepted. Do not confuse effort with faith. Faith may be very quiet. Faith may be the decision to sleep as the one who has received, even if the senses have not bowed. Faith may be the soft refusal to continue rehearsing absence. Faith may be the gentle inward turn from what is not yet seen to what is already accepted. Faith may be no more, at first, than resting the body as though the answer has come. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. Imagine standing before a door. If you push the door with panic, beat upon it, condemn yourself for not opening it quickly enough, and exhaust the body in the effort, you may forget that the door was never locked. It opens inward. So it is with the state. You do not break into fulfillment. You enter it. The door opens inward. The key is assumption, and assumption may be soft. The door opens inward. Enter softly. Enter without violence. Enter without accusation. Enter without asking whether you are doing enough. Enter as one entering a quiet room at night. The fulfilled state is often quiet. In that quiet room, there may be no trumpet, no great sign, no dramatic proof. There may only be peace. There may only be the sense that the desire is no longer outside you. There may only be the body beginning to rest. There may only be a little inward knowledge. I have received. Do not despise it, because it is quiet. The kingdom of creation often begins quietly within man. Now let us speak to the part of you that has tried so hard. Perhaps you have tried to believe. Perhaps you have repeated words while fear remained underneath. Perhaps you have forced images and then felt discouraged because they faded. Perhaps you have imagined the wish fulfilled and then asked immediately whether it worked. Perhaps you have made the law another burden. Let that end tonight. The law does not ask you to suffer in imagination, it asks you to assume. Assumption is not strain. Assumption is wearing the state. And if you wear a soft garment, you do not wrestle with it. You put it on, you let it cover you, you move within it, you sleep within it. Let fulfillment be that garment tonight. Do not pull at it. Do not question every thread. Put it on gently. I am fulfilled. Let that be a garment. I am the one who has received. Let that be a garment. I am living from the end. Let that be a garment. Wear it softly. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. If your mind says, I do not believe this enough, answer softly. I am not forcing belief. I am entering the feeling. If your mind says the feeling is too faint, answer, a faint feeling accepted is enough to begin. If your mind says, I cannot see the scene clearly, answer, the state can be felt without perfect sight. If your mind says, I am becoming sleepy, answer, sleep receives the state. If your mind says, I may forget the words, answer, the deep remembers the feeling. Let there be no punishment in this practice. If doubt appears, do not punish yourself. If the mind wanders, do not punish yourself. If sleep comes early, do not punish yourself. If the feeling is gentle, do not punish yourself. If the heart is tired, do not punish yourself. Enter softly. The old state may be harsh. The fulfilled state is not harsh. It does not scold. It does not condemn. It does not say, you failed because you were not intense enough. The fulfilled state invites you. It says, come in, rest here. You do not have to arrive by force. You do not have to earn this state by exhaustion. It is available now. The fulfilled state is often quiet. Let the body hear that. Fulfillment may be quiet enough to sleep in. If the desire were already done, you would not necessarily remain awake with excitement all night. You might rest, you might breathe, you might feel ordinary peace. You might lie down and know that life has moved into place. Therefore, do not seek excitement if peace is offered. Peace may be the more faithful sign of the end. The one who has received does not always shout. The one who has received often rests. The one who has received does not keep checking the feeling. He rests in it. The one who has received does not strain to believe. He lets having become natural. The one who has received does not grip the scene. He dwells in the state. The one who has received does not fear sleep. He gives the state to sleep. So tonight, do not try to keep yourself awake in order to prove faith. Faith can sleep. Faith can close the eyes. Faith can be quiet. Faith can trust the unseen. If you fall asleep while the feeling is soft within you, that is not failure. That is the seed entering the ground. Sleep does not require strain. Sleep receives the state. Now let us practice without pressure. Think of the desire only lightly. Do not clutch it. Do not pull it toward you. Let it be known. Let it stand quietly in the background. Now, instead of trying to force belief in the thing, ask gently, what would it feel like if it were done? Not what would I do to make it happen? Not how would I convince the world? Not what steps must come? Only what would it feel like if it were done? Perhaps the answer is relief. Then feel relief softly. Perhaps the answer is safety. Then feel. Perhaps the answer is being loved. Then feel being loved softly. Perhaps the answer is freedom. Then feel freedom softly. Perhaps the answer is peace. Then feel peace softly. Perhaps the answer is simply the end of the question. Then feel the end of the question softly. Do not demand a great emotional flame. A small warm light in the heart is enough. Let it be small. Let it be quiet. Let it be real to you for a moment. That moment is a door. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. If the feeling disappears, do not chase it. Chasing confesses distance. Simply return to it gently, as one returning to a chair by the fire. You do not shout at the fire because you looked away. You sit again. You warm yourself again. So with the state, return gently. Return to relief. Return to done. Return to received. Return to I am fulfilled. Return to the body of one who has received. Return without anger. Return without haste. Return without fear. The gentleness matters. A state entered violently is often not the state desired. If you desire peace, but try to force peace, you are in conflict. If you desire love, but force the feeling with fear, you remain in fear. If you desire supply, but force abundance through panic, you remain in lack. Enter the state in the manner of the state. Peace is entered peacefully. Love is entered love. Therefore tonight, enter softly. Let the forehead soften into belief. Let the eyes soften into belief. Let the jaw soften into belief. Let the shoulders soften into belief. Let the chest soften into belief. Let the hands soften into belief. Let the stomach soften into belief. Let the breath soften into belief. Do you see? Belief does not need to be hammered into the body. It can be breathed into. I want you to understand this because many miss the state when it comes gently. They think, surely if it were real, I would feel a great certainty like a trumpet. But the fulfilled desire, once truly possessed, may feel ordinary. If a thing is natural to you, it does not always excite you. It belongs. It rests in your world. It becomes part of your identity. Therefore, the quietness of the state, if it remains only dramatic, you may admire it from afar. If it becomes natural, you can inhabit it. Sleep in the naturalness. Sleep in the quiet. Sleep in the ordinary after. Sleep as the one who has already passed the moment of suspense and now simply rests. The fulfilled state may feel like a sentence. It is done. It may feel like a breath. At last, it may feel like a. Of course, it may feel like sleep. I can rest now. All of these may be doors. Do not demand that the state come in one way only. The state knows how to present itself to you. Your work is to accept it when it comes, however softly. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. Now let this remove the fear of imperfect practice. You may not hear every word. You may drift. You may. Still, if the general state carried into sleep is fulfillment, the deep receives fulfillment. A man who falls asleep in a gentle atmosphere of done has done more than a man who remains awake all night fighting doubt in the name of faith. The night is not a courtroom. You are not on trial. You do not need to prove that you deserve fulfillment. You do not need to present evidence before I am. The state is entered by assumption. Let the night be a sanctuary, not a trial. Rest from proving. Rest from measuring belief. Rest from examining feeling. Rest from judging the scene. Rest from correcting every thought. Rest from turning the law into strain. Enter the feeling softly. Now repeat inwardly, if you wish, not as labor, but as descent. I do not force belief. I enter the feeling. Again, I do not. Now let the feeling be whatever fulfilled means for your desire. If the desire is love, the feeling may be being wanted. If the desire is supply, the feeling may be relief. If the desire is health, the feeling may be ease. If the desire is success, the feeling may be established. If the desire is freedom, the feeling may be space. If the desire is peace, the feeling may be stillness. If the desire, let the breath move through it. Fulfilled. Let the body rest under it. Fulfilled. Let the mind stop asking how strong it is. Fulfilled. A faint fulfilled is enough for this moment. A soft fulfilled is enough for sleep. An accepted fulfilled is creative. The mind may ask, how can something faint be powerful? But consider the seed again. It is small, it is silent, it appears. So with assumption, a quiet assumption that is accepted contains its own unfolding. It does not need to be large in emotion. It must be true enough to you that you can rest in it. Rest is the measure tonight. Can you rest in it a little? Can you breathe as though it is done? Can you let the body stop reaching for a moment? Can you release the question long enough to sleep? That is enough. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. Instead of saying, I must believe completely, say, I am willing to feel the end softly. Instead of saying, I must see clearly, say, I am willing to rest in the mood. Instead of saying, I must have no doubt, say, I am willing to return to the state. Instead of saying, I must make it happen tonight, say, I am willing to sleep as the one who has received. Willingness is a softer door than force. I am willing to rest as the one who has received. I am willing to let sleep take the state. I am willing to stop making this difficult. Let the body respond to willingness. It may soften more easily than it does under command. The heart may open more easily to invitation than to pressure. The mind may quiet more easily when it is not being accused. Let willingness lead you into assumption. The law is exact, but the exactness is this. Consciousness outpictures the state accepted, but the entrance to that state can be gentle. Indeed, for sleep it must be gentle. A strained mind does not easily sink. A fighting heart does not easily rest. Tonight enter by softness. The fulfilled state is often quiet. Let the room be quiet. Let the body be quiet. Let the desire be quiet. Perhaps the end is only the absence of pressure. Then take that. Perhaps the end is only a little less fear. Take that. Perhaps the end is only the willingness to believe that the desire exists as a state. Take that. Perhaps the end is only the feeling, I can sleep now. Take that. Do not despise the humble beginning. If you were cold and a small flame appeared, would you curse it because it would? So protect the little feeling of fulfillment. Do not blow upon it with criticism. Do not say, this is not enough. Do not say, I should feel more. Draw near to it. Rest near it. Sleep near it. Let it grow in silence. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. Now let the old habit of forcing leave the body. Let the forehead stop forcing. Let the eyes stop forcing. Let the chest stop forcing. Let the hands stop forcing. Let the stomach stop forcing. Let the breath stop forcing. Let the whole body stop forcing belief. You are not failing by relaxing. You are succeeding in the manner of sleep. Sleep receives the state. A relaxed body in a fulfilled assumption is more faithful to the end than a tense body shouting affirmations in fear. Let that give you permission. Do not say, I have not finished believing. The deep can receive beyond your conscious effort. Do not say, I must stay awake until I feel it perfectly. Perfection is not required. Acceptance is. Do not say, I must repeat the words again and again. If the feeling has touched you, even softly, let sleep take it. Let sleep take I am fulfilled. Let sleep take it is done. Let sleep. Now if you are still awake, remain gentle. Let us rest in a few phrases, not to force but to enter. I do not force belief. I enter the feeling. The fulfilled state is quiet. I allow it to be quiet. A soft assumption is enough. I accept it. Sleep receives the state. I give sleep the fulfilled state. Again, slower. I do not force belief. I enter the feeling. I enter the feeling. Quiet fulfillment. Soft assumption. Sleep receives. I rest. Now let the desire be done without excitement. If excitement is absent, let it be done quietly. Let it be done naturally. Let it be done in the inner man. Let it be done in the state. Let it be done as a peaceful fact. The world may later supply the drama if drama is needed. Tonight, the deep, quietly free, quietly established, quietly answered, quietly fulfilled. There is a dignity in quiet fulfillment. It does not beg for attention. It does not announce itself in panic. It does not ask every passing thought to approve it. It simply is, and I am is being. Therefore, let I am wear quiet fulfillment. I am quietly fulfilled. I am softly. I am quietly fulfilled. I am softly certain. I am gently received. I am resting in the end. Now suppose a doubt appears. Let it be there for a moment without fear. A passing doubt is not the state unless you dwell in it. Do not chase it. Do not argue with it for long. Return to the feeling. Doubt may knock at the door, but you need not leave the room. The room is fulfillment. Again, quietly, I return. I return. I return. This returning is persistence without strain. Persistence is not clenching the mind. Persistence is loyalty to the state. If you wander, return. If you doubt, return. If you fall asleep, let sleep continue the return. No violence is required. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. The feeling need not, the body need not be perfect. Let it soften in the direction of received. The mind need not be empty. Let it be less opposed. The night need not be controlled. Let it receive. Now breathe as though there is nothing to force. Inhale softly. Exhale the effort to believe. Inhale the feeling. Exhale the strain. Inhale the end. Exhale the fight. Inhale received. Exhale trying. You are sinking into it. You do not need to seize fulfillment. You are allowing it. You do not need to become loud. You are becoming quiet enough to receive. The fulfilled state is often quiet. This quiet is not emptiness. It is acceptance without noise. It is the deep beginning to agree. It is the body no longer resisting. It is the mind becoming less fascinated by difficulty. It is the desire becoming less. Now, as you rest, take this simple understanding. The law is not helped by your tension. The bridge is not formed faster because you worry. The desire is not drawn nearer because you exhaust yourself. Entering the end is not a performance. It is a return to the state you choose. And tonight, you choose it softly. You choose the end softly. You choose fulfillment softly. You choose received softly. If the state comes as a whisper, accept the whisper. If the feeling comes as a small relief, accept the relief. If the image comes as a dim impression, accept the impression. If the words come slowly, accept the words. If sleep comes before all of it is complete, accept sleep. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. Now let this be the final release of pressure for this section of the night. You do not need to make the scene perfect. You do not need to hold the feeling with fear. You do not need to monitor every thought. You do not need to stay awake as proof. You need only enter the feeling softly and let sleep receive the state. I enter softly, I receive softly, I assume softly, I sleep softly. The desire is done softly. The state is accepted softly. The deep receive. The demand to believe perfectly fades. The fear of doing it wrong fades. The need for excitement fades. The effort to force the mind fades. The old struggle fades. And the quiet state remains. I am fulfilled, not forced. Fulfilled, not strained. Fulfilled, not loud. Fulfilled, not perfect in appearance. Fulfilled in state. Let the fulfilled state be quiet enough to sleep. Do not force belief. Enter the feeling. The fulfilled state is often quiet. A soft assumption accepted is stronger than a loud effort doubted. Sleep does not require strain. Sleep receives the state. And now, with no pressure, no harshness, no inner violence, let yourself drift as the one who has already received, softly held in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, let us make the fulfilled state simple. Many people, when they hear that they must imagine, become too ambitious with the image. They try to construct the entire road. They try to see every person, every movement, every circumstance, every explanation. They try to imagine how the desire begins, how it unfolds, how the obstacles disappear, how each event leads to the next, and in doing so, they often return to the very state they wish to. They imagine the problem being solved, rather than the problem already solved. But tonight, I ask you to do something much simpler. Choose a scene that implies the end. Choose a scene that implies the end, not a scene that explains the end, not a scene that fights for the end, not a scene that begs the world to change, a scene that quietly implies that the desire is already fulfilled. The scene need not be long. It must only imply that what you desire is done. The scene is a door into the state. The scene is not the whole house, it is a door. Do not worship the scene. Use it. Let it carry you into the feeling. If the scene becomes too complex, it may wake the mind. If it becomes too dramatic, it may excite the body. If it becomes too much like effort, it may return you to trying. Tonight, choose a little fragment of life that would only be true if your desire were already done. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. Do not imagine yourself trying to be chosen. Imagine the moment that proves you are chosen. Do not imagine yourself searching for money. Imagine the calm after provision has come. Do not imagine yourself fighting for health. Imagine the natural conversation that could only take place if you were. Imagine the feeling of being held in love. Do not imagine yourself forcing a door open. Imagine yourself already inside the room. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. This is a merciful instruction, because the mind has been trained to return to the struggle. When man wants a thing, he often imagines all that stands between him and it. He imagines the resistance. He imagines the delay. He imagines, and then he wonders why imagination has not freed him. But he has been faithful, not to the fulfilled desire, but to the absence of it. Tonight, be faithful to the end. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. Let that comfort you. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. Not 20 scenes, not a whole drama, not every step of the bridge. One, if it implies the state you would occupy after the desire is done, then it is a door. If you can accept it, even faintly, as real in imagination before sleep, it begins to impress the deep. Now I will give you examples, not so that you must copy them, but so that you may understand the nature of the end. Perhaps your desire concerns love. Do not imagine endless searching. Do not imagine wondering whether you are. Instead, imagine one quiet moment that would only be natural if love were already yours. Perhaps a hand resting in yours. Perhaps hearing a loved one speak to you with tenderness. Perhaps a simple phrase, I am so grateful we are together. Perhaps the feeling of lying down at night with the certainty that you are chosen. Perhaps the ring on the finger, not as a symbol of longing, but as a natural fact. The scene need not. Perhaps your desire concerns money or provision. Do not imagine the chase. Do not imagine the fear. Do not imagine stretching, pleading, calculating, or arguing with lack. Imagine the confirmation. Perhaps you are seated at a table and the obligation is settled. Perhaps you are holding a letter that brings relief. Perhaps someone says, I am glad that worked out for you. Perhaps you are looking at a simple record. Perhaps you feel the quiet after of having paid what needed to be paid. Perhaps you lie in bed without the old fear of tomorrow. The scene need not explain the channel. It need only imply supply. Perhaps your desire concerns healing. Do not imagine battle. Do not imagine yourself fighting the body with fear. Do not imagine constantly checking whether something has changed. Imagine the confirmation. Perhaps you are walking easily. Perhaps a friend says, I have never seen you look better. Perhaps you hear yourself answer, I feel wonderful now. Perhaps you are doing some ordinary thing that would only be natural if wholeness had returned. Perhaps you are at rest, not thinking of the old condition at all. The scene need not explain the restoration. It need only imply wholeness. Perhaps your desire concerns success. Do not imagine being overlooked. Do not imagine proving your worth to the world. Imagine the confirmation. Perhaps someone shakes your hand and congratulates you. Perhaps your name is spoken with respect. Perhaps you receive a letter of acceptance. Perhaps you are in a room where your place is already known. Perhaps a friend says, I knew this would happen for you. The scene need not explain the steps. It need only imply that you are established. Perhaps your desire do not imagine repeating the problem. Do not imagine trying to silence the mind by force. Imagine the confirmation. Perhaps you are in a quiet room, and the thing that troubled you no longer has its hold. Perhaps you hear yourself say, it is settled now. Perhaps you sit by a window and feel that the burden has lifted. Perhaps your breath is steady, and you realize you are no longer afraid. The scene need not explain how peace came. It need only imply peace. The scene is a door into the state. A door does not need to be large. It only needs to open. The scene may be one sentence. It may be one touch. It may be one look. It may be one letter. It may be one room. It may be one voice. It may be one feeling. The scene must imply, not explain. If it explains too much, the mind becomes busy. If it implies, the subconscious understands. The deep does not require a lecture. It understands implication. If I hear a friend say, "I am so happy for you," and I know what they mean, the scene implies the fulfilled desire. If I feel the weight of a ring and know what it means, the scene implies the fulfilled relationship. If I see my name where it would only be if success had come, the scene implies the fulfilled ambition. If I hear someone say, "You are completely well now," the scene implies health. If I feel the relief of lying down after a problem has been solved, the scene implies the answer. Implication is enough. The scene must be after the fulfillment, not before it. This is important. Many imagine themselves on the way and think they are imagining the end. But the way is not the end. The application is not the end. The conversation trying to convince is not the end. The prayer from lack is not the end. The end is after. After it has been answered. After it has been received. After the desire is no longer uncertain. After the world has already conformed. Choose a scene from after. The night after the answer came. The room after the burden lifted. The conversation after the desire was fulfilled. The quiet walk after you were chosen. The restful breath after the money came. The calm body, the letter after the door opened. The voice after it worked out. This is why I say, do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. The confirmation contains the end without dragging you through the road. It places you on the far side of the bridge. It allows you to sleep not as one crossing in fear, but as one who has arrived. Now, let us take the principle slowly. Suppose there is a desire in you tonight. It may be very specific, or it may be, do not begin by asking, how will it happen? Do not begin by asking, who must change? Do not begin by asking, what must I do tomorrow? For this hour, set aside the road. Ask only, what would I see, hear, or feel if it were already done? What little thing would prove it? What little moment would imply it? What would someone say? What would I answer? Where would I be? What would I hold? How would the room feel? Perhaps you would hear, "It worked out beautifully." Perhaps you would hear, "I am so happy for you." Perhaps you would hear, "You did it." Perhaps you would hear, "It is settled now." Perhaps you would hear, "I love you." Perhaps you would hear, "The answer has come." Perhaps you would hear your own voice saying, "It is done." Choose one. Do not need many. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. Now, when I say accepted as real, I do not mean that, I mean that in imagination. For that little moment, you give it the feeling of reality. You allow it to be true within. You do not stand outside it saying, "This is only imagination." You enter it, and for a moment live from it. You hear the voice as though it were spoken. You feel the hand as though it were held. You see the letter as though it were before you. You rest in the room as though the matter were settled, even if faintly, even if softly, even if sleepily. The scene is a door into the state. Do not keep looking at the door. Enter. If the scene is a friend congratulating you, do not study the friend as though you were painting a portrait. Hear the congratulations. Feel what it implies. Let the feeling enter the body. If the scene is a letter, do not try to read many lines. Know what the letter means. Feel the relief. If the scene is a ring, do not struggle over every detail. Feel the fact it implies. If the scene is a handshake, feel the recognition. If the scene is a room, feel the atmosphere after the answer. The scene must serve the state. The state is the true dwelling. Now the mind may object. It may say, "But I cannot see clearly." Then hear. It may say, "I cannot hear clearly." Then feel. It may say, "I cannot feel strongly." Then accept a faint knowing. There are many doors. Some enter the state through sight, some through sound, some through touch, some through inward relief, some through one sentence, some through the quiet absence of the old question. Do not turn this into a burden. The end can be implied in many ways. If you cannot see a friend, hear their voice. If you cannot hear their voice, feel their joy. If you cannot feel their joy, feel your own relief. If relief is faint, accept the faintness. If the image fades, if the words fade, keep the state. Sleep does not require perfection. Sleep receives implication. Choose a scene that implies the end. Let us now imagine together, gently. You are not required to force any particular picture. Let my words simply show you how simple it may be. There is a quiet room. It is night. The desire has already been fulfilled. No one is explaining how. No one is rehearsing the old trouble. The room itself feels different. It is the same kind of room you have known, but the atmosphere has changed. The burden is not there. The question is not there. The old waiting is not there. There is peace in the air because the desire is done. You are seated, or perhaps lying down, and someone who loves you, or someone who would rejoice with you, speaks one sentence. I am so happy for you. That is all. I am so happy for you. Hear it once. Hear it naturally, not dramatically. A simple sentence spoken because the desire is already fulfilled. If they are happy for you, something has happened. If something has happened, the state is implied. If the state is implied, the deep understands. You answer, thank you. It all worked out. That is enough. I am so happy for you. Thank you. It all worked out. Let the scene end there. Do not add the road. Do not ask how it worked out. Do not ask when they learn. It has opened the door. Enter the feeling. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. Or perhaps the scene is even simpler. You are holding a letter. You need not read every word. You know what it says. It has brought the answer. Your hand holds it calmly. Your eyes rest upon it. The matter is settled. You fold it gently, place it down, and breathe. It is done. That is enough. A letter, a breath. It is done. Or perhaps their face carries respect. They say, congratulations. You feel the hand. You hear the word. Congratulations. The thing is accomplished. You do not explain how. You do not replay the struggle. The handshake implies completion. That is enough. Or perhaps it is a ring upon the finger, not imagined with longing, but worn naturally, as though it belongs there. You turn the hand slightly. You feel the fact. You do not ask who, when, how. That is enough. Or perhaps it is not an object at all. Perhaps it is a voice, a familiar voice, kind and simple, saying, I knew it would happen for you. Or it is all settled. Or you are safe now. Or we are together now. Or you are well. Or the answer came. Or it is done. One sentence. Let it imply the whole. That is enough. The scene is a door into the state. Now let us speak of the quality of the scene. It must be. If it becomes complicated, shorten it. If it excites the mind too much, make it quieter. Remember, this video is for sleep. The scene must be sleepable. It must be something you can drift with. It must not demand too much attention. It must be like a small lamp left burning in the inner room. A little scene, quietly repeated, can become more real than a grand vision forced. So choose a scene you can return to without strain. A phrase, a breath of relief. The moment after. The moment after is the secret. After the wish is fulfilled. After the problem is solved. After the answer has come. After the love is secure. After the money is provided. After the body is well. After the door has opened. After the burden is lifted. Go to after. Stay in after. Sleep in after. The end is the after. Now the scene must imply, not explain. Let us understand this. It wants to know the mechanism. It asks, how did the person change? How did the money come? How did the healing happen? How did the opportunity appear? How did the obstacle dissolve? But implication belongs to imagination. It says, if this little moment is true, then the desire is fulfilled. That is enough. The subconscious understands implication because it speaks in states. It does not require you to lecture it on the outer process. Give it the end. Give it the feeling after. It will accept the state more readily than it will accept a complicated argument. Do not explain the desire to the deep. Show it the end. Do not explain the bridge. Show it the arrival. Do not explain the answer. Feel the relief. Do not explain the fulfilled state. Enter it. Choose a scene that implies the end. Now, perhaps you already have your scene. If so, let it appear gently. Do not force it to become vivid. If you have not chosen, let one of these forms help you. Someone congratulating you. Someone speaking to you differently. A peaceful room after the answer has come. A short conversation that could only happen if the desire were done. A letter. A handshake. A ring. A voice. A feeling. Choose one. Only one for now. Do not gather too many. Too many may scatter the mind. One scene is a cup. Let the state fill it. If you have many desires, tonight choose the feeling of fulfilled, and let one simple scene represent it. Or choose the desire that calls most deeply, and give it one scene. The law is not confused by simplicity. Now enter your scene, not as one watching from outside, but as one present within it. If a hand is in yours, feel it from your hand. If a voice speaks, hear it as being spoken to you. If you hold a letter, hold it as yours. If a friend rejoices, let them rejoice with you. Do not stand apart and observe fulfillment like a picture on a wall. Be the one fulfilled. Let the scene happen in the first person. It is happening to you. It is known by you. It is felt by you. It is accepted by you. This is important because many imagine as though they were watching another person. But the state must be yours. The desire must be accepted as your own fulfilled fact. So enter, receive the confirmation. Let the meaning be, this is done for me. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. Now repeat the scene, if it feels natural, not mechanically, not as punishment, not with fear that you must do it correctly. Repeat it as one enjoying a truth. Let it be short enough to repeat, without effort. I am so happy for you, thank you. It all worked out, again. I am so happy for you. Then let the feeling remain. Or perhaps congratulations, thank you. Again, congratulations, thank you. Again, congratulations, thank you. Then let the feeling remain. Or perhaps it is settled now. Yes, it is done. Again, it is settled now. Yes, it is done. Again, it is settled now. Yes, it is done. Again, it is settled now. Yes, it is done. Then let the feeling remain. The repetition is not to force. It is to make the state natural. The mind becomes less fascinated by the road. The desire loses distance. The fulfilled self becomes more familiar. And sleep approaches not as an escape, but as a seal. The scene is a door into the state. If the scene begins to fade, do not worry. The door has opened. Enter the room. The feeling is more important than the clarity of the picture. If the picture fades and the relief remains, that is good. If the words fade and the knowing remains, if all that remains is a quiet sense of done, that is good. You do not need to hold the door once you are inside. Do not become anxious about keeping the scene. Anxiety would take you out of it. Let it come. Let it repeat. Let it soften. Let it become feeling. Let it become sleep. Now I want you to see why the scene must be after the fulfillment. If you imagine yourself trying, you are not in the end. If you imagine yourself asking, you are not. If you imagine yourself waiting for an answer, you are not in the end. If you imagine yourself looking for signs, you are not in the end. Those scenes imply absence. They imply not yet. They imply distance. Choose a scene that implies already, already loved, already supplied, already healed, already chosen, already successful, already free, already at peace, already fulfilled. Let already be the atmosphere. The scene may be a small already is more powerful than a large not yet. A simple confirmation is more powerful than an elaborate struggle. A quiet done is more powerful than a dramatic attempt. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. Now let us bring this into the body again, because the body must sleep in the state. As the scene appears, let the body answer it. If you hear congratulations, let the shoulders drop as though you have received. If you hear I love you, let the chest soften as though love is safe. If you hold the letter, let the hands relax as though the answer has come. If you feel the ring, let the body accept belonging. If you sit in the peaceful room, let the stomach release the old fear. The scene is not only in the mind, it teaches the body. Let your scene relax you. If the scene makes you tense, simplify it. If the scene makes you chase, change it. If the scene makes you compare with the outer world, shorten it. The right scene for sleep brings relief. It says no more struggle tonight. It says this implies the end. It says the desire is done in consciousness. It says I can rest. The fulfilled scene is restful. Let it be restful. Let it be ordinary. Let it be slow. Let it be enough. The fulfilled state is often quiet, and the scene that implies it may be quiet also. Perhaps the most powerful scene for you is simply lying in bed, just as you are now, but with the knowledge that the desire is done. You do not need a different room. You do not need a grand stage. The same night, the same bed, the same breath, but a different state. You are lying here after the answer. You are not waiting. You are resting. That may be your scene. This very moment, transformed by assumption. You in this bed, after the desire is fulfilled. You in this darkness, no longer asking. You in this body, resting as one who has received. That is enough. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. Now give yourself permission to choose something simple. The mind may try to make it grand, because it thinks grandness proves importance. But the law does not require grandness. The law requires implication and acceptance. A small key can open a great door. A small sentence can imply a whole fulfilled life. Let your scene be small enough to sleep with. A friend's smile, a loved one's voice, a calm room, a letter in the hand, a hand in yours, a ring upon the finger, a handshake, a sentence, a breath of relief, a quiet knowing. Choose one. Now, as you choose, do not ask whether it is the perfect one. If it implies the end, it is enough. You can refine it another night. Pick the scene that naturally says, "It is done." The deep will understand. The scene must imply, not explain. If the friend says, "I am so happy for you," you need not explain why. You know. If the loved one says, "I love you," you need not explain the history. You know. If the letter brings relief, you need not read every line. You know. If the room feels peaceful, you need not narrate the whole journey. You know. Let, like a lullaby, see it, or hear it, or feel it. Let it be brief. Let it imply. Let it end in peace. Do not continue the scene into unnecessary details. End it while it is fulfilled. End it in relief. End it before the mind begins to ask how. A good scene for sleep is complete, simple, and circular. You can return to it again and again, and each return says the same thing. Done. The friend congratulates you. The hand holds yours. Done. The room is peaceful. Done. The ring is there. Done. The breath is relieved. Done. Let done be the meaning. Now, you may notice that the scene begins to become less visual and more emotional. That is good. The scene has done its work. It has opened the door into the state. Now dwell in the state. The scene is not to entertain the mind. It is to carry the mind into feeling. Once the feeling is present, rest, and the state is where you sleep. Let us say it again, softly. Choose a scene that implies the end. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. The scene is a door into the state. Again, choose the end. Imagine the confirmation. Accept the small scene. Enter the state. Again, choose the end. Feel the confirmation. Accept it as real. Rest in the state. Now if sleep comes, let it come. Do not say, "I must keep the scene sharp." The scene may dissolve into sleep. That is well. If it dissolves into the feeling of done, let it dissolve. If the feeling dissolves into rest, let rest take it. If the words dissolve into silence, let silence carry the state. The deep does not need you to remain awake holding the image. The deep receives the impression. Sleep may receive the scene as a seed. Let it receive. Let the scene become simple. Let the friend smile. Let the voice speak. Let the letter be held. Let the room be peaceful. Let the body rest. Let done be felt, and then let go. There is a beautiful freedom in not imagining the struggle. You do not have to rehearse how life will obey. You do not have to plan every step of fulfillment. You do not have to correct every condition. You do not have to persuade every person. You do not have to know the road before sleep. The implied fulfillment is enough. One small scene accepted as real is enough. Let it be enough tonight. Not perfect. Enough. Not dramatic. Enough. Not long. Enough. Not forced. Enough. Not explained. Enough. If the desire is truly fulfilled in the scene, then the scene has fulfilled its purpose. It has carried you beyond asking. It has moved you into the end. It has given the subconscious. Now let us prepare to leave this teaching as a practice inside you. Whenever you lie down and wish to enter the end, do this gently. Choose the desire. Go beyond the road. Ask what little moment would imply it is done. Enter that moment. See, hear, or feel it from within. Repeat it softly if you wish. Let it create relief. Let the relief become state. Let the state become sleep. That is all. No struggle, no forcing. Only the end implied. Only the confirmation received. Only the state entered. Only sleep. Choose a scene that implies the end. Perhaps tonight your scene is the voice of a friend. Let the friend speak. "I am so happy for you." Perhaps tonight your scene is your own voice. "It is done." Perhaps tonight your scene is a quiet room. "All is well now." Perhaps tonight your scene is a loved one speaking differently. "I love you." Perhaps tonight your scene is a letter. "The answer has come." Let it be yours. Let it be real enough. Let it be soft. Let it be done. Now gently repeat your chosen scene inwardly. Do not strain. If you cannot repeat it, simply hold the meaning. If you cannot hold the meaning, hold the word done. If even the word fades, let the body rest as though done were true. Done in the forehead, done in the forehead, done in the stomach, done in the breath, done in the scene, done in the state. The scene is a door into the state, and the state is done. Let done become sleep. Let the confirmation become sleep. Let the friend's voice become sleep. Let the peaceful room become sleep. Let the letter become sleep. Let the ring become sleep. Let the hand become sleep. And what is implied as fulfilled, accepted in imagination, begins its movement toward expression. You need not watch that movement tonight. You need not trace it. You need not ask whether it has begun. Give the deep the scene. Give the deep the state. Let the law work. Do not imagine the struggle. Imagine the confirmation. One small scene, accepted as real, is enough. The scene is a door into the state. And if the scene remains, let it remain. If it fades, let it fade into the fulfilled feeling. If the fulfilled feeling fades into sleep, let sleep take it. Nothing is lost when the state has been accepted. The seed has entered the ground. Let the last impression be simple. It is done. It is confirmed. It is received. It is natural. It is mine in consciousness. The scene has implied it. The state has received it. Sleep may now carry it. Do not return to the struggle. Do not return to the explanation. Return only, if you return at all, to the small scene that says everything without saying much. The voice, the smile, the letter, the hand, the room, the ring, the breath, the peace, the confirmation, the end. Let that be enough. Let it be quiet. Let it be accepted. Let it be the doorway through which you pass into the fulfilled state. Let every explanation fade. Let every question fade. Let every effort fade. There is nothing more to understand tonight. There is nothing more to solve tonight. There is nothing more to force tonight. The mind has heard enough. The body has softened enough. The desire has been brought into the inner chamber. And now only the state remains. I am fulfilled. Let that be the first and last truth. I am fulfilled. Not waiting. Not hoping from afar. Fulfilled. I am fulfilled. It is done. Let the words become slower now. It is done. Not because the outer world has shouted it. Not because the senses have hurried to prove it. Not because reason has explained the road. It is done in consciousness. It is done in the state. It is done in the deep. It is done where all true creation begins. It is done. Not in the place where I waited. Not in the place where I wondered. Not in the place where I asked how. I sleep in the end. I sleep where the desire is already fulfilled. I sleep where the heart no longer leans forward. I sleep where the body no longer reaches. I sleep where the inner man says quietly, it is done. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. My desire, let it become like breath. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. It does not need to be chased through the night. It does not need to be held by force. It does not need to be guarded by fear. It is fulfilled in consciousness, and consciousness is cause. The bridge is forming while I sleep. 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 I do not build it with worry. I do not need to name every person. I do not need to see every road. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The state knows the way. The end contains the way. The law moves in silence. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. It works beneath the noise of the senses. It works beneath the surface of events. It works beneath the old appearance. It works where the waking mind need not go. It works as the unseen root moves before the branch appears. It works while I rest. I wake where my desire is already done. I wake where my desire is already done. I wake where my desire is already done. But I do not need to think of morning now. Morning will come in its hour. The bridge will form in its way. The law will move in its silence. Tonight I rest. Tonight I sleep in the end. Tonight I rest in the fulfilled state. I rest in the fulfilled state. Let the body hear it. The forehead rests in the fulfilled state. The eyes rest in the fulfilled state. The jaw rests in the fulfilled state. The shoulders rest in the fulfilled state. The chest rests in the fulfilled state. The hands rest in the fulfilled state. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake where my desire is already done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Again, softly, I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. I wake where it is done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Let the phrases become less like words and more like atmosphere. Let them surround you. Let them become the quiet room in which you sleep. I am fulfilled is the room. It is done is the air. I sleep. The bridge is forming while I sleep is the unseen road. The law works in silence is the peace. I wake where my desire is already done is the promise. I rest in the fulfilled state is the pillow. Rest there. There is nothing to chase. There is nothing to force. There is nothing to beg. There is nothing to prove. There is nothing to hold with fear. There is only the fulfilled state. I am fulfilled. The old self waits. The fulfilled self says, it is done. The old self asked how. The fulfilled self sleeps in the end. The old self searched for proof. The fulfilled self knows the desire is fulfilled in consciousness. The old self carried the bridge. The fulfilled self lets the bridge form while sleep comes. The old self listened to noise. The fulfilled self knows the law works in silence. The old self feared morning. The fulfilled self wakes where the desire is all. The fulfilled self rests in the fulfilled state. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Let the words slow. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Again. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Again. Fulfilled. Done. The end. Fulfilled. Done. The end. Fulfilled. Done. The end. Fulfilled. Done. The end. Already moving toward expression. Already fulfilled in consciousness. Let the word already become restful. Already. 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 Not someday in consciousness. Already. Not perhaps in consciousness. Already. Not waiting in consciousness. Already fulfilled. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The bridge is forming without my fear. The bridge is forming from the state. The bridge is forming from the end. The bridge is forming in ways seen and unseen. The bridge is forming while I sleep. Let the bridge belong to the law. Let the road belong to the state. Let the means belong to the end. Let the hour belong to the appointed time. Let the body sleep. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. The law works in silence. I do not need noise. I do not need proof. I do not need the world to agree before sleep. I do not need the senses to report the new state this moment. The law works in silence. The state is accepted. The deep has received. The seed is planted. The bridge is forming. I rest. I wake where my desire is already done. I wake in the state. I wake in the end. I wake as the one who has received. I wake where the inner man has already accepted fulfillment. I wake where the old waiting has less power. I wake where the bridge is already moving. I wake where the desire is already done. But now I sleep. Now I rest. Now I fall inward. Now I let the state carry me. I rest in the fulfilled state. The fulfilled state holds me. The fulfilled state quiets me. The fulfilled state receives me. The fulfilled state becomes natural to me. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake where my desire is already done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Again slower. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. I wake where the bridge forms. The law works. I wake fulfilled. I rest. Again, fulfilled. Done. The end. Fulfilled. Bridge. Silence. Wake fulfilled. Rest. Let the mind no longer follow every word. Let it be enough to feel the direction. Fulfilled. Done. The end. Bridge. Silence. Rest. These are gentle stones beneath the feet of the inner man, leading. I am sleeping where it is done. I am not forcing the world. I am sleeping where it is done. I am not chasing signs. I am sleeping where it is done. I am not holding the old report. I am sleeping where it is done. I am not the one who waits. I am fulfilled. It is done. Let the body become heavier. Let the forehead become quiet. Let the eyes sink into rest. Let the jaw release the last argument. Let the hands stop reaching. Let the stomach release tomorrow. Let the breath become slow. Let the body belong to the fulfilled state. The body sleeps in the end. The mind sleeps in the end. The heart sleeps in the end. The deep receives the end. The subconscious accepts the end. The night seals the end. The state remains. I am fulfilled. Do not ask the mirror now. Do not ask the senses now. Do not ask the old world. The answer is the state. The state is fulfilled. I am fulfilled. It is done. If a thought comes, let it pass through the fulfilled state. If a memory comes, let it pass through the fulfilled state. If a fear comes, let it dissolve in the fulfilled state. If the old question comes, let the answer be simple. It is done. If the old how comes, let the answer be simple. The bridge is forming. If the old doubt comes, if the old waiting comes, let the answer be simple. I sleep in the end. If the old identity comes, let the answer be simple. I am fulfilled. Now let there be fewer and fewer words. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. I wake where it is done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Again. I wake where it is done. I rest. Again. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep. The bridge forms. The law works. I rest. Again. Fulfilled. Done. Sleep. Bridge. Silence. Rest. Fulfilled. Done. Sleep. Bridge. Silence. Rest. Let the pauses inside you lengthen. Let the words become soft, like footsteps moving farther away. The fulfilled self lets the scene fade. The fulfilled self lets the body soften. The fulfilled self lets the law work. The fulfilled self rests. I am the fulfilled self. I am the one who has received. I am the one living from the end. I am the one who sleeps where the desire is done. I am fulfilled. It is done. Let the night carry the state. Let sleep carry the state. Let the deep carry. Let the morning carry the state into life. I rest in the fulfilled state. 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 Now if the words become distant, let them become distant. If the voice becomes soft, let it be soft. If the mind drifts, let it drift in the end. If sleep draws you down, go with it. Do not return to check the desire. Do not return to measure the feeling. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Again, I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Again, I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Let the end be all. The end in the forehead. The end in the eyes. The end in the jaw. The end in the shoulders. The end in the chest. The end in the hands. The end in the breath. The end in the deep. The end in sleep. I wake where my desire is already done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Again, very softly. My desire is fulfilled. The bridge is forming. The law works. I wake fulfilled. I rest. Again, desire fulfilled. Bridge forming. Law working. Wake fulfilled. Rest. Again, fulfilled. Forming. Silence. Rest. Now let the words blur into feeling. What is accepted does not need to be gripped. What is planted does not need to be dug up. What is given to the deep does not need to be watched. The fulfilled state is now the final impression. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake where my desire is already done. I rest. I sleep in the end. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. The law works in silence. I wake where my desire is already done. I rest in the fulfilled state. And now the circle becomes smaller. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. The bridge is forming. The law works in silence. I rest. Smaller still. Fulfilled. The new state is resting. The old question is fading. The answer is resting. The old road is fading. The end is resting. The old self is fading. The fulfilled self is resting. I am fulfilled. It is done. I rest in the fulfilled state. You are not waiting for your desire. You are not chasing your desire. You are not asking the night to prove your desire. You are sleeping as the one for whom it is already done. You are sleeping in consciousness where the desire is already accepted. You are sleeping while the bridge forms. You are sleeping while the law works in silence. You are sleeping as the fulfilled one. Let this be the last knowing. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Let this be the last breath. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. Let this be the last inner movement. I am fulfilled. It is the bridge is forming. The law works in silence. I wake where it is done. I rest in the fulfilled state. Now sleep may come. Let it come without fear. Let it come without checking. Let it come without effort. Let it come without the old story. Let it come as fulfillment. Let it come as rest. Let it come as the end. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. I am fulfilled. It is done. It is done. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. My desire is already fulfilled in consciousness. The bridge is forming while I sleep. 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 The law works in silence. The law works in silence. I wake where my desire is already done. I wake where my desire. I rest in the fulfilled state. I rest in the fulfilled state. Now softer. Fulfilled. Done. End. Consciousness. Bridge. Silence. Wake fulfilled. Rest. Again. Fulfilled. Done. End. Consciousness. Bridge. Silence. Wake fulfilled. Rest. Again. Fulfilled. Done. End. Bridge. Silence. Rest. There is no need to go back. The state is enough. Sleep is enough. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. And now, as the night deepens, let the desire be no longer an object far away. Let it be the state you sleep from. Let it be the name you wear. Let it be the atmosphere around the body. Let it be the quiet truth beneath the breath. I am fulfilled. I sleep where it is done. I rest in the fulfilled state. It is done. It is done. Now let even the words rest. Let the feeling remain. Let the state remain. Let the end remain. Let sleep receive all of it. I am fulfilled. It is done. I sleep in the end. I rest in the fulfilled state. And softly, without effort, without waiting, without chasing, without asking the world for permission, I now sleep as the one for whom the desire is already done.